Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, welcome to the latest episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Tomorrow is our 2-year anniversary.
I have something on that.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I said it on Overtime on Monday.
Yeah.
It's on our community tab. We're looking for viewer submission videos, questions, comments, concerns, but it has to be on video. We've gotten 4 so far.
Come on,
Four.
we could do better than that.
We can do more than that.
We could do better.
We have said, and we've seen in the chat many times, people say, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Well, here's your chance.
Nah, that's right.
Record a selfie, send us a video. It could be a question, a comment. We've had messages. We've had questions.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of a roast, actually, in one of them. Can't wait to play those for you guys tomorrow.
Nice. Is it as good as the Tom Brady roast?
It was not as good as the Tom Brady roast, but we have already international, 2 separate countries that sent us video, or 3 if you include the United States, India,
and India,
and the United States.
Yeah.
So, if you want to be part of our 2-year anniversary, because we can't be here and we couldn't have done what we've done without you guys, we want you to be a part of this. Send us a video. You can DM it to me on Twitter, tag me on Twitter, email it to me. All the information's on our community tab.
There you go.
But we want you to be a part of our 2-year anniversary show tomorrow. And to do that, you have to send us in a video.
So before we start our third year on the air tomorrow, we finish our 2nd year on the air, wishing Mike a happy birthday.
Thank you.
How old are you now? 31?
31.
31.
Me and Kevin Stefanski share a birthday, so it's a good day for some.
How old is he?
Older than me.
45?
He's older than me.
No, he might be younger than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is Kevin Stefanski young?
I don't know exactly how old he is.
Look up, yeah. I think he's 45, 4?
Yeah,
He's 42.
42?
According to Wikipedia, yeah.
All right, good for him.
Same age as me. Shout out to Coach Stefanski.
G. Bush in the house today as well, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
What's going on?
G. Bush is in the building. You know, we just chilling.
Are you got your Mighty Duck shirt on, so I got to ask you, are you watching the hockey playoffs? And if so, who are you rooting for?
No, I'm not watching the hockey playoffs.
I watched last night.
The Rangers game?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Go Avalanche, baby. Knock out the Stars.
But what I am starting with y'all is, what G. Bush is getting to is, this year is the evolution of G. Bush in the gear. There's 2 things that I'm bringing back. I am bringing back throwbacks by myself single-handedly. So
did they ever go out of style? To be honest with you, like
you can wear them to the games, but not walking around as a grown man in the street.
Fair.
Like, and one of the major things I said gotta find a lane. I told my mom, who's my stylist, no lie.
Right.
No, I told my mom, I said, yo, I need the hockey jerseys. I need to be known as Mr. NHL himself. So now,
but that does not include actually watching games.
You don't.
No.
I only gamble. I only gamble on hockey.
Okay.
And I only wear the hockey jerseys.
All right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It was the hockey lottery yesterday.
Who got the first pick?
The Sharks.
Okay.
Wow.
And they already said who they're going to draft. It's the smartest thing I've ever seen, and I wish other sports would do this.
Why?
Imagine the Bears just said we're taking Caleb Williams. Let's just start the draft.
Isn't the guy who's supposed to be the first pick in the hockey draft have a very odd name?
Yeah, and his dad works for the Warriors, so he's got ties to the Bay Area too.
Okay.
I don't know what the guy's name.
He's an American player?
I have no idea.
That sounds fishy. The Sharks happen to get that first overall pick. Joe Thomas wearing hockey.
Shout out to the Monsters. The Monsters are in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they won their division since the first time, I think, in their history of their franchise.
Oh, really? Because didn't they win the championship in...
You're asking the wrong guy.
I thought they won it. There was one year where I called a bunch of Gladiators games on TV when the Gladiators were still here, because the guy who does play-by-play for the Monsters does the Gladiators, and the Monsters played for the AHL championship, and I think they won, right?
It was 2016.
16.
They won the Calder Cup
yeah.
the same year we won
Great
the
year.
NBA.
Steve says the guy who's going to be the first overall pick, his name is Macklin Celebrini.
Hold on.
Oh, I like that name.
Hey, 3-Sip-12 says, G.
Yeah.
Bush, they are sweaters, not jerseys.
That's true.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I
That's
got...
what hockey people know that. That's a good call.
Yeah, listen, shout out to the movie Slapshot, which I've never seen either. So since I'm going
It's
to...
dated at this point.
Can you name one hockey player?
Oh, listen, all the Luke Robitaille, Pat LaFontaine,
Those guys are all long retired.
They're gone. I'm in a certain era. Like I listen.
I know Connor Bedard was the first pick.
Can you name
Sid
one
Crosby?
There you go.
He still plays, right?
He does.
Who's the guy that played for the Capitals?
Ovechkin.
Yeah,
he's playing in Europe now, right?
No, he's still in the Capitals.
No, who's the guy that's like 60 and still playing in Europe? Yager, right?
Jaromir Jagr. What a name.
I bet people didn't expect to hear us talking hockey, so we'll move on from it. We got a lot to get to today. The Miz is going to be in studio.
Yep.
What time is The Miz in studio?
12:30.
12:30. I should have known that. It's a bad job out of me. He will be in studio. Maybe he'll hit somebody. Hopefully not. We don't need a John Stossel situation here. Does anybody know that? You know what I'm talking about, John Stossel?
No.
There was a wrestler that hit him. He was like, hit
The Miz?
No. 60 Minutes, they had a reporter named John Stossel. I can't remember who he was interviewing. He was interviewing a wrestler. He asked this wrestler if wrestling was real, and the guy slapped him so hard in the face that he had permanent ear damage.
The Miz?
So, no. This is years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Years ago. I don't remember who the wrestler was.
Okay.
So let's, not go down that road, right?
But yeah, you've seen the slap
boxing?
That's
crazy.
People that do that are
Dana
insane.
White has a whole league, and I watched people get slapped out.
Oh, he owns that too?
Oh,
he does.
Dana White owns.
But speaking of which, we were talking about the Tom Brady roast yesterday. Was it Jeffrey Ross that had the good Dana White lines? He said, "You're Michael Vick with humans."
Wow, that's crazy.
And before we get into it, one last thing we have.
Yeah.
Zach in studio today.
Yeah.
Zach is shadowing upstairs, but he's a
Right.
big sports fan, wanted to come down here, so we got a one-person studio audience.
That's
so
right.
Shout out to Zach.
Shout out to Zach. Yeah, Zach, you
There he is.
don't want to do what they doing
Senior
up
in
here.
high school.
You want to come
This
down
is-
here.
this is way more fun,
This
yeah.
way, they
That's
up there
right.
doing the weather, talk about news. Someone was jaywalking the
That's
other day.
boring.
That's
It
trash.
really is boring. Anthony Earl and Steve behind the glass. As always, let's get right into it after we hear from Anthony. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, guys, before we get into the Cavs reactions today, it's winners take all time in the NBA, NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if you to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and all things more. Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Guys, it's easy to get, I'm no stranger to getting worked up and screaming and yelling and being angry. But the reality is what happened last night was exactly what I expected to happen. The Celtics are more rested. They're at home. They're a far superior team. And even though they have a big injury with Porzingis, so do the Cavs with Jared Allen. The game went about like I expected. There was never a moment, and I because I was at Little League, I didn't get to see the first quarter, but I was going to go back and watch it, but it was a 25-point blowout, so what was the point? But from the second quarter on that I watched, there was never, for me, a moment in that game. Because remember, the first quarter was crazy, obviously 40-34, and the Celtics, I think, had like a 7-0 run or
to start the second
quarter. Neither team really scored much after that in that quarter. But from that point, like from this, I turned it on when the Celtics run that run to start the second quarter. There was never a moment. The Cavs kept cutting it 9, 10. I don't know if it was maybe 10.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12.
Never got it single digits.
Right, it was always between 10 and 12. There was never a moment that I thought the Cavs had any chance of winning that game. Did you?
No.
Not really. It was crazy. I tweeted this out last night. The Cavs played an almost perfect offensive first quarter.
Yeah.
They made 6 threes in the first quarter.
Right.
They
Even
did not.
Okoro hit 3.
They did not turn the ball over once in the first quarter.
Right.
They scored 34 points.
Yes.
Take the opponent out of the equation. That was their best offensive quarter of the playoffs.
By far, right?
And they trailed by 6. Yes.
Yes.
And that's the reality of the series that
Yeah.
the Cavs are facing when they play the Boston Celtics. To beat Boston, the Cavs are going to have to play a damn near perfect game and hope Boston doesn't make shots. Boston ended up making 18 threes. They shot about 39%, right around their season averages.
Yeah.
They didn't have a great shooting night. Derek White shot great.
It
Jaylen
was
Brown
White
shot great.
and Brown. That was really
Jason
it.
Tatum did not play particularly well last night, and they still scored
Yeah.
120 points. And we'll get into the minutia of the game in a sec, but just
Yeah.
from the big picture standpoint, the Cavs are going to have to make a ton more shots. They need players other than Donovan Mitchell to step up and score the ball at a consistent rate. And they're going to need to find ways to slow down Boston because last night was a microcosm of what could be a big picture of this series, which is what we knew going into it. Boston had more talent. They are a better and deeper roster. And unless the Cavs can find some sort of magic formula, they're going to have their hands full from the game 2 all the way to whenever the series ends, whether it's in 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Everything watching that game, and I haven't watched the Celtics that much this year. Obviously, we've seen them a little. Everything looks, and it's not, but everything looks so easy for the Celtics on offense. For the Cavs, everything's a struggle. Every Donovan Mitchell basket, and he's playing his ass off, right?
33. Yep.
He's going down at the end of the shot clock. He's making these crazy shots.
Yeah.
He's magnificent. But everything's hard for the Cavs on offense. Everything is easy for the Celtics on offense. Does it look that way to you, too?
Yeah, I tweeted both what you just said. I tweeted, they were like, wow, G. Bush is being positive on Twitter for once. I said, I thought they had a real nice first quarter. I thought they did what they needed. They hit threes. They didn't let the Celtics get out to a really big lead or a really big spurt. I thought they played well. But on the other end of the court, they didn't play at all. Straight drives, straight line drives to the basket, guys helping off guys that for no reason, late on closeouts. And when you look at the rest of the game, as they started to stretch their legs a little bit, you started to see the difference. It's levels to this thing, right? And when you start to see them in the second half, you're like, the Celtics wasn't even breaking a sweat. They wasn't trying. Now I won't say trying because I want to be very clear today. I don't want to be hyperbole guy. I want to be very clear about the differences. They got their shots to their spots, and they got there with ease, with no sweat. The Cavs, every single thing, I laughed and joked. I said, the Cavs are breaking their necks just to take tough contested shots.
Yeah.
And if you got...
Can I actually push back on that a little bit, G? I actually think the Cavs got a decent number of good looks last night.
Yeah.
They shot 43s. Boston cross-matched Tatum and Horford on defense. They had Horford guard Isaac Okoro, and they had Tatum guard Evan Mobley. Now, the reason they did that, and we're going to break this a little more down in depth later on the Ultimate Cavs show today, is they didn't want the Cavs to go to their bread and butter, which is the high pick and roll, because if they did it with Mobley and Tatum as his defender, the Celtics just switch that, and then you have Tatum on Mitchell, and then you have whoever's guarding Mitchell, who ended up being White, Holiday. They kept switching. But it ended up getting the mismatch you wanted. So they started screening with Isaac Okoro. And then Horford was playing in drop coverage. They had a bunch of looks. They just got to make the shots. Now,
but Mike, you've been saying
but
they're not going to make the shots.
Well, that's my point.
They're not good shooters.
No,
we found that out.
Yeah.
That's my point. The reason Boston's offense looks so easy to get shots is they have 5 guys who at any point in the game, even last night when Jason Tatum's not making shots and Drew Holiday's not making them at a 40% clip like he did in the regular season, you have to respect. Even Al Horford, who's Al Horford, he's 55 freaking years old. He was drafted in 1938.
Yeah.
It's still a 41% three-point shooter.
Right. But Tatum and Horford were 1 for 10 from 3.
They still...
And they won by 25.
And that's my point. They still draw the
And no
respect.
Porzingis.
The reason the Celtics get so many open looks is you're scared to help off anybody.
Right.
And they drive and kick. And last night, with just Mobley on the court, there was no rim protection.
Right.
So they were just getting easy drives. Eventually, when they're getting easy drives, you have to collapse.
Yeah.
They kick out, it puts the Cavs in rotation. On the flip side, the Celtics just don't respect Mobley. They don't respect
anybody
Okoro.
except for
Mitchell.
Donovan. That's it.
That's the issue. It's a roster construction issue, it's an execution issue, and it's an issue of not generating enough looks in the half court when the defense is actually set.
You're a guard. You played, right? Your coach probably told you when you're at the point of attack and you are a guard, you can't consistently rely on rim protectors because you're getting beat off the dribble every single play. Like when you get 2 feet in the paint, it's dead. You're done because now it's rotate. Basketball moves faster than people. Guess what? Guys are going to be open and they're going to knock down those shots at a high rate. For us, and to Bull's point, I think it's time that we start. We heard all year it's a make or miss league, right? And I can understand if you shoot a couple games poorly. But when you continually shoot game after game after game after game poorly, I have to believe what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing consistently is weak. Strus is not a good shooter.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's
Not what matters.
George Niang is not a good shooter.
He's useless.
Yeah.
Like Isaac
Irrelevant.
Okoro, we can say, hey, we had some good looks, but are those looks good because you taking them, or are they good looks because you think that they're giving you those? The Celtics is like, oh, that's a good look. Well, if that's your best look, take that.
Right now, teams that are playing the Cavs, and obviously at the moment it's the Celtics, they're saying they have no concern about anybody but Donovan Mitchell. That's it. They know the rest of the guys can't beat them. They're not worried about any of the rest of the guys. Like, when you play the Celtics, forget even White or Porzingis. Like, you know that Tatum and Brown are studs. Yeah. And you're concerned with them every time they touch the ball, and they can take it to the basket and dunk it in your grill every time they get the ball, and you are worried about them all the time. And that obviously opens things up for everybody else, because you got two guys that you are scared of because they can do everything on the court. The Cavs only have one of those guys.
And not just
Darius Garland is not. Now, I still think Darius Garland is a better player than he's played. I think, to me, the difference between Darius Garland and Mobley, and we'll get into that more later, but I think Darius Garland he's first of all, he's never going to be Tatum or Brown. We know that. Yeah. But Darius Garland is a good player having a bad season, in my opinion. Good, not a great player. I think Evan Mobley is a complete fraud.
He's a good defender.
And but see, I even think he's fraudulent defensively against good teams, because they were freaking bullying him all night last night. And I don't care about his points. Those are the most empty points. He scored them all in the fourth quarter, pretty much.
10 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the game was over. I don't want to hear about his points. He is a fraudulent player. There's no way this guy's going to become as good as we had hoped. No chance.
Do you want to do the Mobley stuff now?
Let's do it. We're already in there. We'll get to the rebounds after.
We get to play real quick. So Mobley had a good fourth quarter. Now, granted, it's a 30-point blowout.
Time. Yeah.
The Cavs, I'm making a big picture to come back. The Cavs need him to play with that aggression from the jump in games 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however long it goes. He can't wait till they're down 30, because they did it in Game 7 against Orlando. All his points, he had 2 points. 2 through the first 3 quarters. Or 4, 2 or 4, whatever it was. And finishes with 13, 14 to make it look better. He can't wait till the game is out of hand to find his voice, essentially, to find his aggression. There were on multiple occasions yesterday where he got the ball in the first, second, and third quarter within 5 feet of the bucket and refuses to shoot. And that drives me absolutely up a wall.
Yeah.
Because the people defending him, let me check this. Let me check the notes. It's not Bill Russell.
Yeah.
It's not Wemby. It's not Gobert. It's 52-year-old Al Horford and Luke Cornett.
Right.
I don't
played well, Luke Cornett, by the way.
Luke Cornett. That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the text I sent to y'all last night, but the fact that I'd even asked that question says
it's crazy.
Enough.
Well, even by the way, I liked the broadcast. I thought it was Brian Anderson.
Greg Anthony did
Greg
a
Anthony's really good.
Great job.
That. Greg Anthony, by the way, low key sounds like Solomon Wilcots. If you know Solomon Wilcots, if you know, you know.
A little
bit. They kind of sound a little like, even though they're not from the same place. Because I think Solomon's from the South, and Greg Anthony, I believe, is from. Oh no, Greg Anthony's from the South too.
I think so,
Greg Anthony's from Las Vegas.
Oh, I thought Greg Anthony was from.
Well, he played at
Georgia.
He played at UNLV.
He's from
anyway,
it doesn't matter.
The point is, Greg Anthony was like, when Mobley finally had like a dunk or something, he's like, why is he head faking? Remember when he said that late in the game? He's like, what is he doing there?
Pull up the video.
We're ready, Mike. Whenever
so these are two examples real quick.
Yeah.
This was in the first quarter. He has it 3 feet from the bucket, kicks out to a core who did make 2 threes already at that point. But when you're this close, that has to be a shot attempt.
What are you doing?
I don't care.
Jam the freaking ball.
That's got to be a shot attempt. In the first offensive possession or second offensive possession of the game for the Cavs, they get the switch. They get Mobley on Derek White.
Oh, my God.
This has to be 2 points. Now, the shot clock's running down. He ends up getting blocked by Tatum. Do you know why that play looks so familiar? It's the exact same play they ran and the exact same move he went to against Cole Anthony against Orlando. The difference against Boston is, A, Derek White's a bigger defender, and B, unlike Orlando in Game 1, Boston just came off and helped.
Yeah.
He's going 1-on-3. I understand the shot clock's running down. He's 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah.
Watch how Orlando tries to help. They don't send anybody. They say, okay, we're going to let you go one-on-one with the guard. Boston says, we're not going to let you have that easy ability to collapse. They bring 2 guys down. When he gets the ball that close, it has to be 2 points. It has to be 2 points, or at least a better look for the Cavs. Now, in the fourth quarter, he was more aggressive. He gets credit for scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter.
I give him no credit for that.
Even though it's out, at least he showed the aggression.
How can you give him credit for that? Do you give him any credit for that?
Nah.
That
was garbage.
He didn't pump. And I have the tag where it's the one I sent you.
Mike, here's what.
You would say in the fourth, you could watch, you could take it full, and I'm going to talk over it. Like, he didn't do that in the fourth quarter. When he tried to get aggressive, he has a little pump fake on the first one, the next 4 buckets. But, like, that's the same spot he had against Derek White earlier in the first.
Yeah.
Refused to go up strong with it. These next ones are better moves, but there's no hesitation. So I'm just saying from a mental standpoint, it's good to see that we know he has it in him. But when he catches it 3 feet from the bucket, he has to get a shot up.
The same thing's going to happen the next game. He's going to do nothing early, and then when it's garbage time and everybody's like, okay, the game's over, that's what he's going to do.
I'm not defending Mobley. I'm just pointing out it's in there.
Yeah.
It just has to, and maybe it's coaching. I'm not sure if it's confidence. It can't wait till you're down 20 points in the fourth.
I understand, Mike, that guys can get better. I get it. Guys get better as your career goes. But here's the bottom line. Guys either have that dog in them or they don't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
No,
it's so clear. You can't coach that.
No.
That can't get better. Your skills can get better if you work hard. Your shooting can get better. You don't become the guy. This is my effing house. You know what I mean?
Well, here's what happened. And let me take a step back from it because it's frustrating. Because I know what I see it happen. In this city, we've been, once LeBron won and we had LeBron here, they say, oh, G. Bush, you're going to the LeBron take. But this is 100% factual. Once LeBron left for the second time, we felt like, yes, we have our championship. We had our window. Cool. We're going to build it up with players that want to be here. We're going to build it back up and get back to a championship level with the guys that we put here, that we drafted, that got a new vibe, new attitude, and it's fresh. It means a lot. You heard Darius Garland talk about it's important for us to do it without LeBron. Well, here's the problem. When you want something so bad, we want more players. We want guys that want to be here. We want guys that are the next wave to say that we're a championship caliber team, homegrown, that we've overestimated. We've overvalued the talent that these guys actually have. We made Mobley be unicornish. There was nothing about his offensive game that's unicorn.
We didn't make him. The Cavs made him.
The Cavs did.
The Cavs came out on draft night and touted him
when
as
Jason
unicorn.
Lloyd says under no circumstances that Mobley can be traded, for what? If I'm looking at Chet Holmgren, if I'm looking at Wemby, if I'm looking at Ben Carroll, if I'm looking at all these others, I could even say Jalen Suggs. I can look at all of these different guys that came in the league after you. You don't have a go-to post move. When they throw you the ball on the post, you can't do a simple jump, a drop step. Your jump hook is not there. You miss layups and chippies. Like, you good defensively. I'll give you that. But no unicorn is a one-trick pony, a defensive player that's a rotational guy that can help block shots. That's good, but not great. You take that and you put that together with the fact you overvalued Max Strus. Max Strus has been a zero. He is a bench role guy. He is a rec league player. He is not a starter. There nothing about him. He can't shoot. He's not athletic. He's not big. He's not long. He's not a defender. He's not quick. He don't jump high. What are you seeing in Max Strus? You just like him? That's a zero on the court. Then you got Darius Garland, who feels like he don't even, I don't think he's even in this realm. He don't even understand it's the playoffs. He's running around just smiling and grinning, and you putting up 14 points. And you the second, supposedly, our second best player. So my thing is, no, we just want them to be good. Do you see what they doing out there? What Ant is doing in Minnesota? This is, Cat ain't even a top 20 player, but you see what he doing? We don't have the dogs, man. We ain't got, and we definitely don't have the coach. Because McNuggets just said with the Celtics, they coming out with the mismatches. They said, "Oh, y'all got one play pick and roll. We gonna switch all that up. Get that up out of here." And we sitting here like this. Again, it's just, and I'm not trying to be a vitriol. I'm just saying. We've wished way too hard.
Yeah.
We just don't have the dogs. Boo.
And the Celtics have all these guys. And this, again, we can't be surprised. We can be
salty.
And I mostly agree with what G said about the makeup of the roster. We in Cleveland tend to, there's been so much losing in this town.
Right.
That when there's any glimmer of winning, we can tend to overrate it sometimes.
Because we're competitive.
Right.
You don't want to sound crazy and kill them because they did win the first round series and they are competitive in games. But
look at the Celtics bench guys. These guys all come in and they're contributing.
Beating the Magic doesn't change the overall questions we're going to have about this team.
Oh no.
After the season ends, whenever it ends up ending. The questions we had entering the playoffs, I don't think we got a single answer versus Orlando.
None.
I don't think we're going to get an answer versus the Celtics.
No.
So we're going to have, and I don't disagree with a lot of what G said. I'm just going to wait till the season's over to have some of
Right,
those
to have some of
conversations
the- yeah,
because
sure.
it's 1-0. The series, I still don't think the Cavs are going to win the series, but it wouldn't be completely absurd. And maybe it wouldn't be completely
They'll
absurd.
still
but-
might win a game.
But that's my
home.
point.
They still might win a game.
I just don't want to push
the
the cart before the wagon or whatever that saying is.
for the horse.
The horse, because it's one game in a game we all expected them to lose. It wasn't like they were the 12-point favorites and got blown out.
Yeah.
They were 12-point underdogs, and then Boston doubled that. So think about that. Like they were historic
Well, they're 13.5 point
underdogs.
dogs now for game 2.
I'm not taking the Cavs.
No, how could you?
Like I don't feel comfortable in that.
It's like one of them things where it's like now you have to come up with things like, okay, in what conceivable universe could the Cavs beat them? Like, what do they have to do to beat them in game 2? Because
The answer is you take 45 threes and pray you make 25.
You know what?
Which
Yeah,
is what
but
Miami did. That's how Miami beat them.
The Cavs, if you look at the playoffs, they've played 8 games, right? Donovan Mitchell has mostly played, like last few games, he's played out of his mind.
He's got 30-plus in 6 straight playoffs.
Yeah, right. So he's mostly played great. He didn't play great in game 2 or 3, I think, or...
He played good first quarter in game 2, then
Right.
wasn't great. Then game 3 was bad. Since
Yeah.
game 3, he's been really good.
Right. So, but he's mostly been great. Jared Allen was playing great before he got hurt. Has anybody else on the Cavs had a single great game?
no.
For their standard,
Yeah, for their standard.
Isaac Okoro played pretty damn good last night for his standard.
But it was all in the first quarter.
It's 4
And then he
of
was
them.
gone.
I'm just saying, like he's the only other guy last night in particular.
Okay.
You could look at and say, if we
Great
get
game,
this level,
he was solid.
He was solid. Okay.
Like, Evan Mobley has not had one great game.
No.
Darius Garland has not had one. He had one great quarter.
Yeah, you're
His,
right.
one
his
great
first
quarter.
3 quarters of game 6 were very good. But then he had a collapse in the 4th, and that overshadows what he did in the first 3.
I mean,
He was good in the first 3
nobody
quarters
on the
of that game.
bench has done much of anything, and you expect that on the road, but at
LeVert
home,
had a good game 7.
LeVert played decent in
Yeah.
stretches last night, but I think to me, what we know what JB is. We get on JB a lot, but I'm gonna tell you what, Kobe Altman. Listen, you sat here and told us every time George Niang and Max Strus pull up and miss a jump shot, I'm looking dead in your face.
has George Niang hit a 3-pointer the entire playoffs?
Yeah, he's 2 for. I did the numbers this
Oh, he
morning.
does too?
3 for 17 or something like that.
If that was what you brought in,
Yeah.
they said shooting, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to McNuggets. Let me go. Shout out to you. You know, G. Bush got a mind like an elephant. Only when it don't involve him. Calling me because I don't answer my phone. But that wasn't my fault either. I got a story to tell later. McNuggets, you said this. Just crazy. You said this when they got Strus. You said low key. If you look at throughout his career and you take a certain couple of the season that he shot out of his mind, he is a average at best 3-point shooter when we got him. He said that, and I said, whoa. He said, yeah, he shot good in the playoffs and he shot out of his mind last year. But guess what? When you take that year out, you traditionally look at what he's done in the league as far as shooting. He is not.
And then he reverted back to that. To being like, he's okay.
Yeah, he's not
Niang
Korver.
is useless.
Right, like he's not. And
Your
then
boy Sam Merrill's been completely useless.
Oh yeah,
He was
that
bad yesterday.
Hey, listen,
He was
Sam,
bad yesterday.
Sam Merrill, man, he might have to go. He might have to go to JJ Redick's school of shooting.
Yeah.
This is he's shooting, and when he comes in, the problem is they got a lot of one-trick ponies. When Niang comes in, if he's not shooting the ball well, guess what? He's a liability defensively and on the rebounding. If you got Sam Merrill, he's automatically in the mix with a pick and roll if he ain't hitting no shots. And then Strus, if he's not hitting shots, I mean, you got a starting lineup with 3 non-scorers. Okoro, Mobley, and Strus.
And back to the point earlier about Boston getting good looks versus Cleveland having to working. Extremely difficult to get good looks. Boston has 5 guys who can score on the court at all times.
Yeah.
And 4.5 if you want to say Horford's a half. I'll give him a half. But they
Who's
have
the dude
4.
came off the bench? What's his name?
Peyton Pritchard.
Pritchard, he hit that 3 at the buzzer.
And do me a
Fournette can
favor,
play.
I made a graphic Pritchard versus Garland.
Who's there?
Pull it
What's
up.
the other guy who's there?
Sam Hauser,
There's
Luke
he's
Cornett.
the same guy, basically.
Yeah, tell me.
Sam Hauser's the same as Sam Merrill.
We're going to call
just
him
look
the
alike.
Backstreet Boys.
The difference
Backstreet
is
Boys
Sam
got
Hauser's 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
got
Their
size,
faces are similar.
White
looking.
shooters,
I mean, all white guys kind of look
But
alike.
the difference is, like, they have at all
Nobody
times
on
on the
that?
court. I was trying to go that. But, yeah, Pritchard, Pritchard outplayed DG last night. You can't lose that battle. If your backup point guard's losing your second.
And he
best
played
player.
with such confidence.
Pritchard's
When he hit that
incredible.
three.
Yeah, he's.
Hey, when somebody wants
And we didn't even mention Drew Holiday. Like, he's such a good player.
Yeah.
Hey,
The Cavs players, to your point, G, the Celtics have a bunch of players that do everything.
Yeah.
Like, can contribute in multiple ways. How many, like, besides Donovan, how many players on the Cavs can do multiple things?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
They have 4.5 guys in the court at all times who are
Yeah.
a threat. In the Cavs' best offensive lineup, take positions out, put their 5 best offensive players, and I'm going to ask you and G. How many legit offensive threats with 4 on the shot clock, if they have the ball, you feel good about getting a shot?
man,
Only Donovan. That's it. One.
it's Donovan and surprisingly Karis LeVert because he's just unorthodox.
It's 1 to 2.5, depending on how confident you are in
Garland's-
certain players. Yeah.
And after
And that's
nobody.
the difference. That's the difference. You have 5 guys spread out, all paying attention to not only their guy, but the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
As opposed to on the other side, it's him in the corner. All right, I'm putting 2 feet in the paint. It's going to be a significantly harder drive. It's a roster flaw.
I saw this, and I saw this in the game, and then I immediately got sick a little bit. I just started laughing because I was like, man, I can't even be mad. They can swing the ball, right? When the Cavs is running plays, if Donovan Mitchell runs a pick and roll and gives it up, he's going right back to the guy like, give it back to me so that we can reset. I saw the Celtics run pick and roll with Derek White. I've seen them running with Drew Holiday. I've seen them then reverse the ball and then run pick and roll on the backside with Brown or Tatum.
Yeah.
Either or. That's 4 dudes that could initiate the pick and roll. So now, yes, you did a good job rotating off that pick and roll, but when we swing weak side, guess what? We said we got another pick and roll you can come with.
I just sent Ant a play, and when you get this in tag where if you can
They're
throw
such
it
a
on.
good, fundamentally sound team.
And
Like,
unselfish.
They do everything well. They're unselfish. You know, it seems like, and like I said, Tatum had a terrible game, but he had a terrible shooting game.
For his standard, that was a bad Jason Tatum game.
I mean.
And they still scored 120.
It's crazy. And Horford didn't do anything. And
Ant, play this play. You talk about the movement and the ability to run different things. I mean, this is the difference in Boston and Cleveland's offense.
just when they missed all those threes and kept getting the rebound.
Tatum to Horford to Brown. Brown drives, kicks. Check all the rotation. It ends up being a wide open 3 for a guy in Drew Holiday. And
they keep moving it to the best shot.
But that's 3 different guys initiating some sort of action. Horford makes a good pass out. Brown drives, kicks. Tatum patient. It just
the Cavs offense is dribble, and then let Donovan make a miraculous play at the end. You know, I thought one of the plays that summed us up, and I want to talk about the rebounding. Well, you got something you want to read first?
No, we can get into the rebounding first.
Okay.
They lost by 17 in the rebounding.
The Cavs got killed on the glass. What summed up the Cavs' ability on the glass was that one possession where I think Boston missed 3 threes in a row and kept getting the rebound. Like, it's hard to get your own rebound on a 3. Like, they did that 3 times in a row and then eventually got fouled. And then there was one point where the Celtics missed a free throw, got their own rebound, put it back. I mean, they were killing the Cavs on the glass.
Because they have very good rebounders at the guard positions. Drew Holiday is big. You have to box him out. Darius Garland does not block people out. He didn't block out anybody in the Orlando series.
Yeah.
You got him. Derek White will crash the boards.
Yeah.
And they will collapse and block shots too. These are big type guards. And when you have what makes it difficult is you got Drew Holiday, who's one of the best defenders on the ball. You got 3 long wing guys like Jaylen Brown and Tatum that are long and then Horford is a great team defender. Porzingis is a guy that can block shots. So what you end up having is like all these guys that can switch off and move and play in space, and it just that's why it just seems like when the Cavs are trying to do something or trying to get a shot, it's like they're running into brick walls everywhere they look. It's just part of it. It's just, and here's the thing too. I know people want to say that the Browns, or excuse me, I'm saying the Cavs. You know, hey, you know, we've made it good. There's only a few teams left. We made it to the semis. We knew we weren't gonna be here. What I like to pose to you guys is this: what is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal that you just want to see the Cavs make the playoffs year in, year out, maybe win a series, maybe at best win another series?
Right.
Or do you watch this team that want to win a championship? Because if you want to win a championship, you should be downloading this stuff and saying when the offseason comes, instead of saying we don't need that guy or I don't like that guy or we good, just run it back. Remember the feeling when guys are knocking down open shots and you're undermanned.
You know what I'm afraid they're going to do, and again, this is more of an off-season conversation, but I'm worried that they're going to change coaches and then run it back with the players.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
I hope they don't, but I'm worried that they might.
They
say, well, we can win with this group. We just got to have a different coach.
Because I'm down. Listen, it's just like, what's the name? Like, this is standard. This is Moody's right here. I'm downgrading your credit score.
Yeah.
Like, Evan Mobley is not.
But here's the problem. Where is Evan Mobley and Darius Garland's trade value right now?
Mobley still has more.
Mobley still has
But
some.
it's got to be down from where it was.
Bill Simmons does his trade value column,
right.
and he had Mobley in like the 20s.
When was that? In the middle of the season?
This year.
It's got to be lower now.
Well, he does it once a year. Yeah. Last year he was in the teens, so he's sliding
lower.
back.
Right. I bet you right now he's in the 30s.
He was in a group with a bunch of players in the same young, not fully up to potential yet.
Either Donovan or Darius is gone after this year. Has to be.
Yeah, I don't think that pairing works the way the Cavs needed to.
You got to trade that. If Donovan's willing to stay, you trade Darius. If he's not, you trade Donovan. That's that simple.
And I'm with you, McNuggets. Like I learned my lesson with small quarterbacks. If you under 6'4", if you're under about 6 foot. I'm not drafting you. I'm sorry. I done got burned too many times.
The crazy part, and I'll let you get to read one sec, but when you play two small guards, your advantage in theory is supposed to be these guys are smaller to make it to the level they're at. They are so skilled, so talented, and so dangerous in the open court that it makes up for what they're giving up on defense, in switches, and all that. And Donovan's living up to his end of the bargain.
Right.
And when DG is not being aggressive, not shooting, and not looking to create for others, he's just a disadvantage on the court in the big picture.
That's right.
You get no advantage of, and the same issue with the two bigs.
Yeah.
You can play two bigs together to be a great rebounding unit, to make everything more difficult for your team. The issue is they don't shoot, so it's just clogged. It makes everything else difficult on offense, and they're not a great rebounding team.
That's two.
Rebounding.
You got 2 and 2.
Rebounding is not just the bigs. It's more important that your guards rebound to be a good overall rebounding team. Yeah. And when you look at the wings, it's not even the guards. Strus, Okoro, Dean Wade. Dean Wade's a pretty good rebounder. I take that back. Dean Wade's actually a good rebounder. Niang, those guys don't rebound. Tatum and Brown, two of the best rebounding wings in basketball. Like, that's more the disadvantage.
The Cavs are going to not only do they have to fire JB, they have to fire Kobe Altman, in my opinion, and they got to blow up the team and change it around. We'll see. We'll look ahead to Game 2 in a second, but first of all, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, before we get into our Game 2 adjustments, guys, if you want more in-depth film breakdown, Mike and Jason are going to be doing an Ultimate Cavs tonight. Not last night, like it says, on Tuesday. So go check out Mike's film breakdown. He's got about 2 more cuts to go through, right, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to do look at what the Cavs got offensively, look at how they can try and get Evan Mobley more involved early. Scoring 10 points in the fourth quarter is great, unless you're down by 30, which they were last night, so they have to find a way to get in early. And we'll look at some defensive things they can switch up to hopefully try and slow down Boston.
If you had to bet your house, Cavs lose by 30 or win Game 2, you got to bet your house.
They lost by 25, and the Celtics didn't play that well.
I'm going to bet my crib. It's still 30.
Yeah.
30.
What adjustments are you making for Game 2? I mean, what can you do?
You can cough in all the Celtics pregame meals and hope they get sick.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
You can put laxatives in their water and hope Tatum has the runs pregame.
That could be helpful.
You can try. Boston went to this set on multiple occasions yesterday where they cleared out the entire right side of the court for Derek White or Drew Holiday and used Tatum as the screener.
Yeah.
And that caused chaos for the Cavs defensively. They had no idea how to guard it. And we actually have to play if you want to play the one play. Fixing something like this would be where I'd start. When Tatum's the screener, you have to make a decision. The Cavs were in no man's land trying to stop Tatum as the primary screener. It allowed Derek White to get downhill on Darius Garland. That is not a situation the Cavs are going to win. Derek White is too big, too strong, too physical, and he's playing like Steph Curry. Not this one, Ant. Unless I sent the wrong video. You can just drop it then. I must have sent the wrong video. But they have to do a better job of running Boston off the three-point line and making Boston, if they're going to shoot, take twos, not threes.
Do you guys know, you're all probably too young except for maybe G. Do you know who Jeff Gillooly is? Do you remember Jeff Gillooly?
That's not a real name.
That is a real name.
I remember Gino Gaduli, quarterback from Cincinnati.
Not Gino Gaduli.
Is that his cousin?
I know.
So, in
I
fact,
know
to
Dino
prove it,
Buffuli.
who's that?
I don't know.
He
Jeff,
doesn't exist.
I don't even Gillooly. I don't even remember how to spell it. Here we go. Jeff Gillooly. See, he's a real guy. There's Jeff Gillooly.
Okay.
All right. Jeff Gillooly was, I can't remember if he was the boyfriend or of Tanya Harding.
Tanya Harding.
Yes. So Tanya Harding
Came through with that
wanted to be on the
slapjack.
women's figure skating team, and she was always falling behind this woman named Nancy Kerrigan, who was like
Yeah, the whole Tanya Harding situation broke her
Jeff
kneecaps.
Gillooly was the one that hit,
Okay,
hit
yeah.
Tanya Harding, or hit Kerrigan.
Kerrigan,
Kerrigan.
yeah.
That's the Cavs' only chance. They need to have somebody take a baseball bat. Please don't do this, obviously, for real. Nobody should do this. But that's their only hope. That's how bad
who?
things are.
To who?
To Tatum or Brown.
Hell, do it to Derek White. That
Or
dude,
Derek White.
That
Maybe,
dude's Steph
I don't
Curry in
know.
a ball cap.
Here's your problem.
Yeah.
They got lucky because Porzingis ain't out, who, by
Yeah.
the way, is a 20-point scorer. Drew Holiday didn't really shoot the ball that well.
Yeah.
And
Neither
Tatum.
did Horford.
Neither did Horford.
Yeah.
Tatum didn't show up. But Brown and White got 30 apiece, and
They were unstoppable.
And two bench dudes
Yeah.
got significant points. So when you got that much firepower, they can afford to put it in layman's terms.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, if you stopped Kyrie, you still had Kevin Love. You stopped Kevin Love and Kyrie, LeBron can get 70. Like it's you
pick your poison.
It's pick what you got to do, and think about it. These guys are hitting 30. We got our best guys getting 14 and 17. Even if that's an efficient 14 and 17.
And they're all late.
And by the way, G, and I know with certainty you're going to agree with this, the Cavs' fourth best player offensively was J.R. Smith, right?
Yes.
Okay. Outside of Donovan, if I need a basket, I'm
J.R.
taking J.R. Smith
Right
by
now.
a mile over
Right now.
anybody else but Donovan on
Right
this team.
now. Like
Anybody else.
Like right now.
And it's not even close.
It's hard to argue.
And he was the fourth option.
It's hard to argue.
The way that Delly played in the finals, I take Delly over DG.
Oh, what?
Delly was
Yeah.
going to be my pick for the
I would.
this week.
Like
At least he's a relentless defender.
This
Yeah.
dude almost died.
Yeah.
He was just like, no. He played with such abandon. Like it was like, and that's the thing. You say how you win this game? Well, maybe turn on some emotion. Stop being robots. Quit being too cool for school. Y'all look like y'all too good to rough the game up. This game got to be. That was a Celtics pretty game. You got to have a nasty, ugly game where it's chippy, where we got guys getting fouled. I don't care if we got to get a couple of flagrants. And on top of that, you got to be able. Like the defensive intensity that I'm seeing in these, like I watched New York in
game
Indiana.
that was
awesome.
different level of basketball.
That game was so good.
Different level of basketball.
It's levels to this thing.
That felt like Charles Oakley and Anthony Davis.
Man,
back in the day.
I'm
Not
watching-
Anthony Davis. What's his name? Dale Davis.
I was watching this. I'm like, man, shot for shot, play for play.
You weren't here yesterday, G. We talked about the Minnesota game, too, where they completely obliterated Denver for the second straight game in Denver. And I talked about that being the level of confidence the Cavs needed to be able to walk into a road environment knowing you belong. And outside of Donovan, it doesn't feel like anyone thinks they belong on this stage. And that's an issue. That's an issue.
Mike, you're doing a great job analyzing this as like you know the sport and you're analyzing it and you're like a network guy trying to like get people to watch the show still. Here's the reality, and we all know it. The Cavs have zero chance of winning this series.
I agree.
They have no chance. I mean, the only reason you give them a chance to win a game is because like teams just win games at home sometimes.
Yeah.
It happens. These teams are not in the same stratosphere.
I never said
The
they were.
Celtics are head and shoulders the best team in the league, and the Cavs are head and shoulders the worst team left playing. Not even close.
Yeah.
Who's worse?
If you want to make the case for Indiana, but that's it. It's the only one you can even try to make
Indiana
a case
beat
for.
New York, though.
No, they did.
They didn't beat New York.
Oh,
no.
they
was a
lost that
close
game.
game.
That's right.
Yeah,
They were
it's
ahead.
close. I'm just
I
saying
mean,
it's the only one you can make a case for.
The Indiana team that I've been watching, way better than the Cavs.
In this series in particular, Jared Allen would make a bit of a difference. Now, not enough of a difference to make this from 5 games to 6 games, 6 games to 7 games. But just from a defensive standpoint, we saw how many open driving lanes Boston had last night. at least Jared Allen gives you another body to try and slow that down.
Yeah.
But I heard again last night that I don't think he's anywhere close to really.
When I heard, and you know what, I think too, like, and I don't, and shout out to Jared Allen. I think the Cavs did him a disservice.
A giant. We talked about it yesterday. A giant disservice.
Because y'all making him look a certain type way. Like, don't comment on the injury, right? Like, obviously the dude is way more hurt than what y'all letting on. So when you say, oh, it's ribs, he's day-to-day, he coming back, people expecting it, and then he's out again. Listen, the dude can't even sleep. Like, and I'm never one person to say somebody's faking an injury because he played all year. He played well. He was the only person really playing above his averages in the first series. So I hear a lot of people saying, why can't they pad it up and do a lot of different stuff like that? And that's just fans being fans.
Yeah,
but I think
fair.
the Cavs shouldn't have put that out there.
No.
And
They screwed up the messaging.
Man.
You're right.
Yeah, 100%.
Jared Allen, that guy, if he could play, he'd be playing.
It's that
simple.
He played in every back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Right.
That guy loves playing basketball.
He played a back-to-back on the road in Utah and Portland. Like, you think, oh, now all of a sudden you don't want to play?
The guy must be in excruciating pain not to be playing. So that's ridiculous.
I heard it legitimately hurts to breathe.
Yeah. Let's move on. The Cavs we spent 45 minutes on the Cavs. They're not worth any more time for this show. Go ahead.
All right, guys, before we get to the Browns stuff, when the Cavs get turned off, you got to go turn on Monopoly Go. You can team up with your friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, and hilarious emojis to taunt friends with while you smash their buildings and heist their vaults. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench, turn the game off, and go download Google Play, and you can get it on the Google Play Store or the App Store. Game on.
Usually it feels like May is. What's up?
I just laughed because I tell Anthony that read is so hard to actually read all the time.
You
And
did
for
a nice
whatever
job,
reason,
Anthony.
that is the most difficult piece of paper I've ever had to read in my entire life.
It is tricky. All right, guys. May is usually May and June is usually the only slow time in the NFL, except for one thing. Schedule! 1 week from today,
Schedule games.
The NFL schedule comes out, fellas. We are all excited. Usually it's on Thursday, but the NFL's getting a little crazy this year with a Wednesday schedule release. By the way, we talked about this a little last week, but before we get into and Anthony had a question for us about like how many primetime games do we think the Browns are going to get?
I spent way more time on this than I should have, by the way.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah.
Before we get to that real quick, last week we talked about the possibility of because Roger Goodell talked about going to 18 regular season games and 2 preseason, and we know what's going to happen before the end of this decade. There'll be 18 regular season games. Joe Burrow was asked about it yesterday, and he said that if they do that, there should be a second bye, which we talked about. But he actually had an interesting take, which I thought was good. The league probably wouldn't do it, but he said what they should do is each team gets their one bye wherever it is. And then there should be 1 week in the season. I don't think he said exactly when it should be, where every team is off. It's just a week off in the season. And the league won't want to do that because they want an extra week of product. But what I did think off of his idea is have the first set of buys be, over 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. But the second set of buys, instead of doing all 32 teams in 1 week, have all the AFC teams off 1 week, and then all the NFC the next week.
I like
this
that.
way, you'd still have TV product for those 2 weeks.
I like that.
I like that, yeah.
That's what they should do. Instead of spreading out that second bye, they should do that. But
I always thought it made sense to have all divisions. Like 1 week is the AFC North bye, 1 week is the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't know why they don't do that. I know the schedule's hard to put together, but you'd think they'd be able to do that.
I just always thought that made sense because these are the teams competing for the division crown. There is advantages and disadvantages of when your bye week falls early in the season. It all depends on how you're playing, when you want it to hit. But I just always thought it made sense. Group them together, and that way it's more uniform and consistent for those 4 teams in each division.
But if you're going to have the second bye, do it that way. All right, so 1 week from today or tonight, we'll find the schedule. We'll find out the schedule. And so the question, guys, is how many primetime games will the Browns have? The Browns, how many did they end up with last year? 3?
3.
All right. The Browns had a good regular season, obviously. It didn't end well in the playoffs, but they went 12-5, had a really good year. Obviously, expectations are that the Browns will have, at least a decent season. I mean, it depends where you look. I mean, right now, first of all, it's stupid to make predictions.
Don't forget about Colin Cowherd's controversial take where he had to finish in fourth.
I was just saying yesterday, you are the best with those headlines. Colin Cowherd's got controversial.
Hey, listen.
It's in 12,000 views.
Yeah, but
I know, man.
It's all about the titles.
That's it.
And then he put out the clip of that today saying, the Browns thriving despite no love from national media. It's great. He's the master of it.
But it is crazy, and I think the Browns. Well, go ahead, Mike. You start us off. How many games do you think?
I spent way more time on this than I probably should have.
Yeah.
I will admit, as soon as the Cavs game ended, did the post game, and then I was like, I'll spend 5 minutes on this. I ended up spending like 35 minutes.
Right.
So the most primetime games any team in the NFL had last season was 6. 4 different teams had 6 primetime games. I don't think the Browns get to 6, but I think they get to 4 this season. 1 more from last year, and I even picked the teams and the day of the games.
Oh, so you got the dates too?
I went all in. How about this? Week 3, at home, versus the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. We know the Chiefs get a lot of primetime love. Mahomes. You have Watson. You have the rematch from the playoffs a couple years ago, the infamous Baker game.
I don't think Watson moves the needle from a.
This is my imagination, Bull. You can
ahead.
save yours for later. We know they're going to have at least 2 primetime AFC North games.
Yep,
probably.
A Thursday night Week 7 matchup in Baltimore. The Cowboys are on the schedule. Nobody gets more primetime love than the Cowboys. Week 13, Sunday Night Football. Dallas in Cleveland. Imagine the crowd for that, G. And here's the creme de la creme to top it all off. At Pittsburgh on Christmas Day. We got a Wednesday night game, a Thursday night game, a Sunday night game, and a Monday Night Football game.
I like
Why? Because the Browns are going to be competitive. The AFC North is the best division on paper, maybe in the history of the league. You have the reigning coach of the year. You have Myles Garrett, a marketable star. This could be the Deshaun Watson redemption tour. We'll see. And you factor all those in with the opponents they're playing, I think we got 4 primetime marquee matchups for the Browns on their 2024 schedule.
I really like the Chiefs one. I think that's a nice angle. You got to, like, if you go back in the time machine and you go back to that game where I believe it was a playoff game where Deshaun Watson, I think there was a 28-7 on the
27-0 on the Chiefs.
27-0 on the Chiefs. And I went back and watched that game. It was funny because Deshaun Watson had just signed a huge deal prior to that game as well. Right. Like, so at that time, people thought in the league it was Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson as the top 2-3 quarterbacks that was moving, young guys. Since then, Deshaun Watson, it's been well documented with his fall from that position. And all Patrick Mahomes has done is live up to the expectations and deliver championships. So I like that. I like it a lot. I think the Browns have gone to the Chiefs a number of times. I think the Chiefs actually go to the Browns. Is they at home this year?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
Yes. So I like that one. I got the Christmas Day game.
Oh, you're also going Christmas Day.
I'm going Christmas Day.
I like that.
But I like the fact that it's kind of odd. I want to get a little interleague stuff going. I like the Eagles game. I like the Eagles around that time. Philly, we'll go to Philadelphia. I'll take that. And I think they get a Baltimore Ravens game at some point, either home or away. And I believe they get a Steelers game. They'll usually put a Steelers game on. So, and if they do have a wild card, if they're playing well, I'll say that they get 3 division games, and they'll play the Bengals somewhere along the line.
Flexed at the end of the season, flexed it in, so 4.5.
Yep. I think they'll probably have 3 or 4. I think you guys are wrong about the Chiefs because there's only a certain amount of primetime games that each team gets.
And the Chiefs have to be on every week.
The Chiefs... the Chiefs are playing the Bengals. You know that game's going to be on primetime.
Yes.
They're playing the Niners. That game's going to be on primetime.
Yes.
They're playing the Ravens. That game's going to be on primetime. And they're playing the Bills. Those are the 4 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks on the Niners that are like big rivalry, much bigger rivalries than with the Browns. Plus, they'll have some division games, even though the division's not great. So I don't think it'll be. I think either the Eagles or the Cowboys or the Giants.
I like the Cowboys
because you play in the NFC East, even though the Giants aren't very good, but obviously they get good ratings in New York. So I think between the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants, I think one of those 3 will be on primetime. Lately, it's been Baltimore. Like Between Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, two of those 6 games will be on primetime. So that's 3. And then I could see like a weird one against Jacksonville or just some other weird opponent. They're not playing the Texans this year.
They're not playing the Texans.
So. I'll say it ends up being 4, but it could be 3. I'd be surprised if it was more than 4.
What do you think Christmas Day, though? Do you think the Browns have a realistic shot to be a Christmas Day?
They were last year, so
They were
right?
Christmas Eve last year, but that was a
Eve.
Sunday.
They had one
What
with
year is
Baker.
Christmas Day this year?
It's Wednesday. It's the first ever
Wednesday
They have,
game.
I think, 2 or 3 games on Wednesday.
Didn't they have one with Baker and the Packers, Browns?
That was Christmas Day, wasn't it?
That was Christmas Day, I think.
But that was a Sunday. That wasn't
Yeah.
special. This is a special
Right.
Wednesdays on Christmas is on Wednesday.
Well, there's going to be a Christmas Day game. Is it only 1 game, or is it going to be
No,
1
I think
or 2?
there's 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'll double check.
That's right. The NFL has decided they own Christmas now, too.
So why did anybody say they got the Cowboys? Why not Thanksgiving?
That's true. Well, the Cowboys, where's the Browns playing at Dallas?
No, Dallas is in Cleveland,
Oh,
so
so
it
that
can't be
game won't
Thanksgiving.
take-
It's
that
also
can't be.
2 Christmas Day games, not 3. So 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the odds are they won't be on Christmas, especially if they played Christmas. They were played like an exclusive Christmas window last year.
No, they didn't play an exclusive Christmas window last year.
Oh, they did. I thought they played Christmas Eve. Or was that 2 years ago?
Oh,
No.
Yeah, they ain't the Commanders,
No, they
Jaguars,
played.
Saints,
They played
Raiders,
Christmas Eve,
no,
but Christmas Eve
Broncos,
was
no.
Sunday.
Okay.
And then they played Thursday. They played the
Right,
Jets
right.
Thursday night after,
Okay.
which was the 28th.
I'm going to say it's 3. You guys are going 4?
I'm going 4.
Okay.
4.
And Earl, what do you think?
I think they're going to play 4, 2 at home, 2 on the road. I just want a Sunday night home game and a Monday night home game.
I'll take anything but a Thursday night Thursday night primetime game.
Oh, they'll definitely play a Thursday night game. I don't know if it's going to be at home or not, but everybody
Everyone plays
I'm just
Thursday.
tired of playing Cincinnati and Baltimore and like those type games. Like no more Cincinnati Browns in primetime. We done had enough of that.
Well, those are the ones the NFL likes to market.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Bengals and Browns always end up like playing like somehow meaningless games at the end of the year. Like there's one meaningless game and
they
play
put all
really
the-
early during.
Yeah.
They put all the division games at the end of the season, though, so they try to make it so hopefully it's competitive, but it's turned into a lot
Right.
of
last
irrelevant,
year it didn't
meaningless
turn
games,
out
yeah.
to be meaningful.
They had a Week 5 bye last year. Do you guys think it'll be that early again this year? Or where do
Probably
you guys
not.
think the bye
I
will
think the
land?
league tries to, move teams around from year to year, but I don't know.
I think it'll be week 9 or 10.
The early bye sucks.
Yeah, it's
Like the
trash.
early bye, I understand if you're not playing well out the gate. Then
Or
the
if you have
early
an
bye is,
injured key player that's you waiting for him to
but
come
then
back.
the rest of the season, it's that's
Yeah.
so many games in a
Wow.
row to end the season.
But
That's tough.
Listen, in the end, the Browns got a bye that last week because they had nothing to play for that last game. So
Yeah. It'll be interesting. On Wednesday, do you think they'll do it sporadically like they've done in the past? They send out a few games and they wait an hour or two, let everyone digest it, they send another hour or two. Will we see the teams? I mean, you remember the marketing thing the Titans
Oh,
did
yeah, that
last
was
year.
good. Well,
the
yeah.
Browns had their WWE, so I wonder if the Miz will
Man,
be somehow involved too. By the way, he's in the building. Earl's going to grab
he's
him
coming.
right now.
Yeah, he's coming down early. So we'll have him here in a few minutes.
Y'all guys, these dudes. Let me tell you about the rest of y'all leagues be losing. Like the internet breaks the NFL breaks the internet just on schedules. Like just think about that. Like everybody has some special reveal. It's like a gender reveal now. Like it's crazy.
Most of us care more about more fans will care more about the schedule release than the NBA playoff games.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
That would be, in theory, that would be Cavs game 6 that night, right?
Yeah.
we make it there.
Game 7 is the 19th, so Game 6 would be the 17th. Would be Game 5, which means there's a good chance.
Game 5 would be Game 5, right? Game 5 would be Wednesday, right?
Which is not crazy to think that the Cavs could have a Game 5
Right.
and the schedule release, and we'll spend
Right,
most
but
of
if
we'll spend most of the day on the schedule release, and most of the interest will be on the schedule release.
Yeah. I mean, if the Cavs are down 3-1 going into that game, which is the most likely scenario.
Going into Boston for Game 5.
Yeah.
The
Right.
hopes will be dipped.
For you guys, look, people used to get mad about 1 o'clock games. To be truthful,
I like 1 o'clock.
I
games.
love 1 o'clock games, right? Because if you win your 1 o'clock game, you're viewing the rest of the day as easy money.
That's right.
You just now you into your fantasy team. You're looking around. I need a couple points here or there. But the 4 o'clock game has no sweat. You look around. You look at the highlights. The rest of your day, you even go back later and get that second meal because you don't order some food. You about to warm it back up.
Yeah.
About 7 o'clock, you're like, let me sit down and see what's going on. But when you doing 4 o'clock games, that's nerve-wracking.
I hate the wait. I hate the lead up because 4 o'clock on a regular day, 4 o'clock comes like that.
Yeah.
But when you're waiting for a 4 o'clock kick, or in basketball like an 8:30 tip off like we have on Saturday, it's doom and gloom, and the games take forever.
The
beforehand.
weekend night game is the worst. Like at least on a Monday, you went to work or
worked,
whatever.
yeah.
Right.
You know, most people work till 5 o'clock, and you're like, okay, you get home and the game's not too much. But a Saturday game at 8:30,
brutal.
Oh,
I like the I understand people don't like it because it's on NBA TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
I love the Saturday 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I like that too.
They got lit up for that on Twitter, though. Doing a Game 7 at 1 o'clock.
Oh, do you know why it didn't get moved to 3:30?
Not off the top
They
of
had
my
already
head.
committed to something else.
F1.
It was
Who
the F1
who
race.
did they get killed by?
Oh, I just saw a lot of Cavs Twitter complaining.
I mean, I don't
like
think
the
anybody at the NBA is worried about Cavs Twitter.
I
love
like
the
the
1
1 o'clock game.
Yeah, I like
because
it
it's
too.
like it's done.
I
was
also,
like,
if you're talking like specific,
Yeah.
and I don't think the Browns have done this since I've been here, but when they do the double headers on primetime, that early primetime game, like the 2 Monday Night Football games,
I like that one too.
where it's a 7 o'clock kick, you're
Yeah.
done, game's over, and
Yeah.
it's 11 o'clock when you're all wrapped up,
Yeah.
finishing post
Yeah,
game.
I like that.
As opposed to the 8:30 kickoff and it's 12:50 when
and
we're
remember,
done.
back in the day, remember Monday Night Football was on at 9?
Yeah.
That was like at that time, like everybody had rules. Like back then they was like, oh listen, you can't stay up for that.
No.
You gotta go to sleep. And it was just devastating.
Yeah.
Like shout out to my dad. He was just not hearing that though. I got to stay up for all sporting events. Like it didn't matter which one
If
it
my
was.
son were into it, like he doesn't love sports, so like a lot of times he'll want to stay and watch the game just because he doesn't want to go to sleep.
You're right.
But if he were a diehard about it, I would let him watch. Now, one thing I don't say this to be mean. The longest wait, and I've experienced this. Unfortunately, you have not. G
Super Bowl
is waiting for that Super Bowl.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because you wait 2 weeks, and then you get to that Sunday, and you're still waiting all day.
Hey, you know what?
And the anxiety and anticipation kills
my
you.
God.
I always talk about it. Like, and I'm gonna ask Miz.
Who's in the building, by the way?
Who's
Getting
in the
mic'd up
building
right now.
when he come out, I'm gonna ask him specifically, what would you do the day of the Super Bowl if the Browns was going to the Super Bowl? What would you? Because for me,
Right.
I'm sure we would do something with the UCSS.
We'll do a pregame show or something.
Yeah.
But I would not.
hard to be
I
focused.
wouldn't be focused. I wouldn't be good.
You know, I was just thinking of G. You know, when we were at Jay's house last year for the Super Bowl, and you're
Yeah.
like, if the Browns were playing in the Super Bowl, I'd just puke. I wouldn't be able to hold it.
Yeah, I'd be sick.
You talk about the greatest weight loss, 2 weeks of your life, would be the end of the AFC Championship.
See, you're
to the
skinny,
start.
so you feel that way. When you're fat, you just eat more when you're nervous.
Yeah, there is like it is comfort eating.
Nervous eating would definitely occur.
Like
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I just
Would that override all the throw up?
I don't know. I've only been like, my nerves has only got me 2 times. Like, you know what I'm saying? 2 times. Like, once I thought I was going to have a kid.
That'll do it.
and it wasn't, you know, this is OG Bush. This is like, I was in no position at that point to have no kid at all. So I was nervous. I was
Jay
throwing
Sprout.
up. Yeah, but the other time was before a game, and I was just like, I don't know why I'm nervous this game for some reason. So there he is.
All right, guys. While Earl gets the Miz out there and ready, I'm going to remind you guys that Monopoly Go is an app that you're going to want to check out. You guys can team up with your friends for time tournaments, whether you work together to build up each other's boards, and the more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. You guys can get
Thanks
unique
for coming
stickers
in.
you can trade with friends
man,
to
that is
complete
cool seeing
albums
that
and
in
prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings and high school vaults.
It's
There's
heavy.
always something to discover in Monopoly Go.
God.
So get off the bench. Go download it now for free on the
is
Google
so
Play
cool.
Store or the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go, guys.
There it is.
Anthony, thank you.
Yes,
Look who's with us. The Miz is in studio.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Do you love coming home?
I do. I really do. Like, I had 2 days home, and they were like, Tuesday I had off. I was like, wait, are the Guardians playing?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. I was like, I want to go.
Yeah.
You threw out the first pitch, too.
I did. Because I was like, if I'm going, can I throw out the first pitch? They're like, wait, you want to throw out the first pitch? I was like, yeah. I normally I bring my baseball glove, but I didn't bring it that time. So
here's the video.
It's a two-seam. So I was debating two-seam, four-seam, or a split finger just to like get it in. And he didn't realize, Hedges, who was catching for him, he didn't realize I'm a lefty. He's like, yeah, it's going to come in. It's going to come in. It's a heater. So here's the windup. This is from captain of the Normandy High School team. Very high. Yeah. Very high pitch.
But you had good form there, though.
Yeah. Great form. Yeah. Great form. I almost did my Hideo Nomo. then he got a clothesline slider.
Hey, shout out to the Normandy Invaders.
I mean, he came at me.
What was do you remember your record when you played in high school?
Our record? We won the LEL.
And what about you personally? Did you pitch?
Me personally as a pitcher, yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember my record as a pitcher.
You were good, right?
It's an ace. Yeah, I was good.
Sorry, G. Just real quick. When you're like the other wrestlers that are from Cleveland, do you guys like hang and tell Cleveland stories
all the time? Me and Gargano talk nonstop about Cavs, Guardians, Browns, everything, all day, every day. And it's interesting. Like my dad knew Johnny's dad when we were growing up.
Wow, that's
we had no idea.
Funny.
It's like a small world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then like anyone you meet from Cleveland, like there's just an instant like bond. Like with Logan Paul, when I was working with him, we would just talk about nonstop of things in Cleveland. Yeah. Travis, Jason, anytime, Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we were here doing the All-Star game, when it was Cleveland versus the world for the Major League Baseball, it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like Cleveland versus the world, like Drew Carey. Yeah. Kenny Lofton, Jim Thome comes in the lineup and he's like, "Hey guys, let's hit some dingers." And I'm like, "Jim Thome, I got a statue of you."
We were just sitting here talking before you came in, and we was like, "Yo, listen, we've never seen a Super Bowl." And we was at Jay's house, and we sitting down there when the Bengals was playing. It was the
Eagles Chiefs.
Yeah. And I said, "There's no way I could be here." Because I would be throwing up. I couldn't watch that game with anybody. If the Browns went to the Super Bowl,
That's where I'm going to. I'm going to the Super Bowl.
So you have to be there.
I would pay the money, whatever it is, to witness it in person. That would be unreal. I mean, the things that we've had to go through as a city, and being Browns fans, it's been a lot. Like, it's been a doozy.
Yeah.
So to see the team where it has come and where it is now, I think Stefanski has a grasp on the team. It feels like the city is confident and believes in him. I feel like the team believes in him. But not only that, the players are invested in what is going on. And we have the caliber of players that looks like a Super Bowl caliber type of team. Yeah. We have all the ammunition on offense. The defense is stout. I like when people are like, "What are you looking forward to the draft?" I'm like, backups. Like, I want backups, because we get a lot of injuries.
Yes.
You know, and so in order to go with four quarterbacks and be able to take them to the playoffs, that's just incredible to me.
I know you're here, Miz, to promote SummerSlam, which is coming to Cleveland in August.
Oh my God, it's going
to
be.
The
tickets are like going like hotcakes.
The ticket presale yesterday had a queue of 36,000 people at that point. It's going to be the event of the summer here in Cleveland.
Yeah, the people are really excited. It's been this past year, I've seen a buzz about WWE and professional wrestling that I haven't seen in the 20 years I've been in WWE.
Wow.
People were always talking, back when I first started in WWE, people were like, you know, the Attitude Era was where it was at. Like, every show was sold out. Right now, every show is sold out. Like, whether it's a live event in Chattanooga, or we're in France, or we're in Vienna, Austria. Like, I just got back from Vienna, Austria, like last Thursday.
Yeah.
And sold out. Bologna, Italy, sold out. Everywhere we're going is sold out. And so with Cleveland SummerSlam going on sale, we haven't been here since 1996 for like a PLE like SummerSlam. This is our top-notch PLE. And the Browns have it. Like, the Cleveland Browns Stadium has it. Like, we're not in an arena anymore.
No.
We're in a stadium.
Yeah.
And it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
Tickets are available tomorrow on Ticketmaster.com, and I'm telling you, you got to get them quick.
Oh, it's going to be nuts.
Set your phone alarms for 9:55.
I got to tell you, Miz, when I was a kid, I loved wrestling. I mean, I loved it. Andre the Giant was my favorite wrestler. In fact, I was so angry when they made him turn heel. But Hogan slamming Andre the Giant's one of the greatest moments in the history of wrestling. And I loved it. I loved Roddy Piper. I loved Jimmy Snooker, Junkyard Dog, all those guys. And as I became an adult, I lost interest. But now that I have a son, he got interested in it, so we've been paying more attention. And now I buy wrestling magazines because he likes me to read them to him. We went, when was it that you were here at the Q? Was it like a year ago, roughly?
I mean, we're here probably 3 times a year.
Yeah, okay, so it's all the time. But I can't, sometime in the last year you were here, and the fans are getting on you. You were fighting against Gargano that night, and my son is screaming things at you that he should not be screaming, but I loved every minute of it. And it was a lot of fun. And as someone that, lost interest in wrestling for a while, and rewatching it now with my son, it is a lot of fun. And I got to tell you, the women's wrestling, because when I was a kid, women's wrestling was garbage. They almost never had, it was like the Fabulous Moolah. That was it. There was no, the women are amazing. They're great too. It's
I married
fantastic.
one.
There you
and,
go. They're incredible.
She's athletic. She's smart. She's just an athlete. They're incredible. But what you were saying about family, like taking your son, that's what I love, being in the ring and looking out in the crowd, and you see moms with daughters, dads with their sons and daughters, like families together. And sometimes you'll get fans whenever I'm doing like autograph signings, and they'll say like, the one thing, I couldn't find anything that I had in common with my kid, but the one thing we both loved was wrestling and WWE, and it brought us together, and we're very thankful for it. And now we go to either WrestleMania or a show every single time it comes in, and that's the cool stories that we love to hear. Like, it's creating moments that you can have with your kids and your family that you'll have for the rest of your life that you can talk about. Like, you have that moment.
Yes, absolutely. I'll never forget that because he had so much fun.
First of all, I got to say, I'm a little older. I'm dating myself right here, but I was a fan before you was here. You made me put an audition tape together for the real world. People don't know that. Like, people don't know that at all. And then you was the first dude that was doing the real world challenges every year. I'm like, this dude, he's on everything. I will say, Bull, that's kind of trash. The best era is the Nitro versus Raw. That's the golden era right there.
Wow,
That's where we came from.
I don't know what to tell you.
But I will say this. I ask you this. Give me your top 5 guys on the mic all time.
All time on the mic?
On the mic.
And obviously you can't put yourself in there.
I can't put myself in
Why
there?
you can't?
I put no restrictions.
You're gonna go Rock Austin.
Okay.
You're gonna go Roddy Piper.
Okay.
Ric Flair.
I was
Nature Boy.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Do I need any more?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
I went really old school on you, by the way. I didn't go like nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
you could look at, obviously myself, blah blah blah. But like, a lot of superstars are really coming into their own, and some have been there. You look at John Cena. You look at CM Punk.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's been getting some really good promos on CM Punk as of late,
Punk
and it's been really good. Cody has been able to really draw you in with the story of his story of trying to finish the story, and he actually did. And now he has to create a new chapter. So a lot of people that's what we do. We're storytellers.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I think sets us apart from, the eras of which you were talking about, and that's just our ability to create these stories that you fall into and you just grasp.
Did you ever see the movie Piper did, They Live?
Yeah.
This is, to me, that fight scene where I don't know the name of that actor. It's one of the greatest fight scenes ever in a movie. They beat each other up for like 20 minutes. I feel like they should do a remake of They Live with you in the Roddy Piper role.
What is the line? I'm here to
chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble
I'm
gum.
all out of bubble gum. Yeah.
I love that movie, and I think we're doing so many remakes now in movies. I feel like you'd be great.
I'm in. They want me to do it. I'm game on.
And you got the championship belt there. We had a chance to give us a chance to hold it. That thing is, how much does that weigh?
I actually don't know. This one's actually a new one. This is the World Tag Team titles. They used to be red and silver, but with the new era of WWE kind of happening right now, it's kind of a renaissance. They gave us new titles, and if they want to make new titles, I have no problem putting on a new title.
If I would have known, I would have brought my belt. Like I
It's
got
not
the
as heavy
belt.
as that one.
It's
I
not
can
as
promise
heavy,
you that.
but you know what I'm saying. I'm an intercontinental champion of this radio and TV thing, so I have my belt. I'm also the tag team champion in radio. It's me and Bull, and you know what I'm saying. I'm working on. I might give Jay a title match, but that is a nice belt, man.
Thank
Well,
you.
You obviously are the current tag team champion. You and R-Truth. When you look at your guys' potential as a tag team duo moving forward, I mean, what's the ceiling for you guys?
The idea is to elevate the tag team division to where you're only talking about the tag team division. And so that is, I think, everyone's goal as a champion. I always say that a champion makes the title doesn't make the champion. So what we do is we set out to make the tag team division the premier division, where when we come here for SummerSlam August 3rd, you are talking about the tag team division. You're talking about the tag team titles, and in the main event is the tag team titles. Right. And so that's where we want to put these. And so Awesome Truth, my tag team partner R-Truth, and myself, that's our goal.
Yeah. How often, like, how much do you have to work out to stay in shape? Are you like doing 2-3 hours a day?
Right now I'm doing like 3 days of like weights, weightlifting,
right?
And then like I'll do on my off days I'll just do cardio, where it's like I'll do 10 degrees of incline on a treadmill for 3.3 speed for like 30 minutes.
Do you teach any? Like, do you teach at all? Like, do you teach the young guys, or that's not?
Well, so if someone asks me, if someone asks me to look at their match, and I like to teach through being in the ring.
Okay.
I like to listen to a crowd, hear a crowd, and understand what the crowd wants and needs.
Yeah.
And then that's how I can maneuver in the ring.
Yeah.
Is this? It's
an art form.
That's a really good question. You know, is it like freestyling? Like, or when you're in a match, is it like a learning steps or understanding, like, hey, here I'm gonna go on the ropes, or here I'm not gonna go on the ropes, or I'm gonna do this? Do you guys work together, or is that just something you just feel out, like when you're in a match?
So obviously WWE is entertainment based, right? And it's story driven,
right?
And we have larger than life characters, and there's comedy, there's drama. So in the ring, the idea is to basically do what you feel the crowd needs at that time. If the crowd is cheering for something, they want to see the baby face do. They want to see the good guy, the guy that they're cheering for. They want to see him do something. If they're booing that other guy, they want to see that guy get beat up.
Yeah.
So you want to give the audience what they want, but sometimes you want to take it away as well.
Right.
So you want to play that kind of
delicate game.
Yeah, exactly.
How
emotions, and that's what it is all about.
How long did it take you to get that feel personally for knowing the crowd? I know what they need.
It takes some people. It takes less time than others. Me, I feel like it took a long time.
Yeah.
To where I got the confidence.
Right.
You know, you hear a lot of talk about, like, you know, great basketball players, but I never got my confidence until year 5 or year 7.
Right.
But you were so good, but in your mind, there's a whole different thing that what you were seeing out there. Like, I can make everyone believe that I'm so confident, but in my head, I'm like, I should have done this, I should have done that, I could have done this. Now I am at a level where I am truly 100% confident that if I go out there with anybody, I can have a great match.
We see that graphic on the screen, which is some of the famous WWE superstars from Cleveland. Yourself, Miz, Logan Paul, Johnny Gargano, Dolph Ziggler. When Logan started in WWE, I know a lot of people
I brought him in.
If it was a joke, if it was real, whatnot. What has he brought to the roster?
I mean, an immense amount of talent. I tell this to a lot of people. No one has picked up wrestling, in my opinion, faster, like the art of wrestling and what we do in the ring, faster than Logan Paul. And whether you love him, whether you hate him, you cannot deny the fact, his passion. You're not going to do what we do in that ring if you're not passionate, especially for as long as he's done it. Some people will do it one time, and they'll go, all right, I've had enough. That's it. Like, it's grueling. It's taxing, and it's very difficult. And he's been able to excel, not only from an in-ring perspective of doing the physical work, but also from a mental, from a social, from a story-wise. He's been able to just grasp it better than anyone I've ever seen. Like, not better, I guess faster than anyone I've ever seen. And he's just been able to really digest it and do a really good job.
You know, there's a dark side to wrestling, right? And we've seen people struggle outside of the ring, especially once their their heyday is pretty much past. How have you been able to stay relevant while staying out the mix and keeping
utilizing my talents?
and just keeping your relationships together and being able to continue to do it and not being in trouble or doing other things outside.
I guess my goals always are bigger than everything else, right? Like my goals are to be the best superstar I could possibly be for the WWE, to create moments that will last lifetime for kids out there, to be a role model, I guess, but also to be the best husband and be best father. And there's a balancing act because I'm in Cleveland right now. My kids are in Los Angeles, so it's a balancing act of making sure that when I am home, Dad is there, Dad is present. Because I don't want my kids to grow up and go, yeah, no, you know what, you never did anything with me. Like, when I'm home, I'm taking the kids to school. I'm taking them to gymnastics. I'm doing everything I possibly can with them. Whenever they need to learn something or to teach them, that's what I strive to do.
Would you and your wife want your kids to be in the business if they wanted to?
I want them to do what they want to do, what makes them happy.
But you wouldn't be against it if they wanted to do it.
I would teach them.
Yeah.
I don't know if my wife would be happy about that, but I would definitely. I want them to be happy.
Yeah.
I want them to be
Whatever
passionate about whatever their
Sure.
mind is. This is what I'm passionate about. I want to be able to help them to do that, and whatever it is.
Did you have any good mentors in the business when you first came up?
All of them.
All of them.
Are you kidding me? I mean, whether you're talking about Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H. JBL, I think, I don't know if I said him already, but I mean, these were all people that coming up literally took me in and said, this is what you need to do. This is what you're doing bad. Here's what I'd like to see more out of you. Everyone was very good at like trying to teach me, and that's why like whenever someone comes up to me, I try to give back what I've taught from them because they don't get to play. They don't get to wrestle those people anymore. They're not wrestling.
Yeah.
So I have to give off what they have taught me.
Right. Pay it forward.
SummerSlam's coming to Cleveland August 3rd. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Make sure you guys check it out. It's at Cleveland Brown Stadium, which has been a big topic of debate not only on this show but throughout the city. Miz, I'm curious from your perspective. If it was up to you, what would you do about the future of the Browns?
I want a dome.
There you go.
Downtown?
There you go.
I want a dome.
Or in Brook Park?
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care where it is. I want a dome. Yes. All right. I don't care. I hate them when people say, "Yeah, but we're a cold city. Like it's like you need to be." No, I don't want to be outside. No. I don't want to be in the freezing cold. I don't want a kicker to miss a field goal, a very important field goal, because the wind is coming off in a weird way off of Lake Erie. Right. I want a dome. I want everything. And I also feel that things will come to Cleveland. And when things come to Cleveland, the city will be thriving. Yes. Money comes to Cleveland. That's right. People come to Cleveland. People see Cleveland and go, you know what? This is a destination city. I want this city to be a destination where people go, I love coming to Cleveland. I want to come back. I had so much fun at the Super Bowl, at WrestleMania. Hey, who knows? It might happen if we get a dome.
I have to follow up on that. How often do you find yourself just making promos in real life? Because that was a hell of a promo to build the dome.
Was it? I didn't even know I was cutting a promo.
I mean, how much
I just get passionate about something and I go with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anthony, you had a question. Go ahead.
Miz, so I grew up in Parma. I graduated from Normandy in 2015, right? And I just got to ask, what was your favorite memory growing up in Parma as a fellow Parma kid?
Favorite memory? Goodness. I mean, there's just so many.
Oh, look at that.
Where'd you find that picture, Anthony?
Google
favorite home. I mean, if we want to talk basketball, my dad got me kicked off the basketball team.
What? How did that?
So
what happened?
This is my sophomore. No, this is my senior year. My sophomore year, I was on the varsity team, right? So I get cut from the team my junior year. Now, how do you go on sophomore and be on varsity?
Yeah.
To going to your junior year and getting cut?
It's crazy.
That makes sense.
Right? Yeah. My dad got in a fight with the coach. Didn't tell me about it.
Got you up out
I come home.
Yeah.
I got cut. I go, Dad, I got cut. He goes, I knew you'd get cut. And I go, what do you mean you knew you'd get cut? I knew you'd get cut. And I go, what do you mean you knew I'd get cut? He goes, I got in a fight with the coach. I was imagining that he was going to cut you.
Like a physical fight? They were beating each other up?
No. So then I thought, then I was like, you know what? That's not real. That didn't happen. I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I was good enough, but in your mind, when you're a kid, when you get cut from a team, you weren't good enough, obviously. Yeah. So then the next year, that coach got fired. So there was a new coach. I tried out for the team. I made the team. So I think that was true. I think my dad got me kicked off the basketball team because he got in a fight with the coach.
But it was still a jerk move by the coach taking it out on you.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
Yes. Well, that's probably why he got fired, I guess. I don't know.
When you come home, what's the first thing you got to eat, like, from Cleveland? What's the first thing you gotta eat?
Well, I would want to say like Mr. Hero because I worked there when I was a kid, from like 1993 to 1999 maybe. I literally ran my dad's Mr. Hero on Ridge and Denison.
Right.
Shout out to Mr. Hero.
So, I always love going to Town Hall. I think they have really good food. And then Corleone's. My dad would kill me if I didn't mention Harry's Steakhouse because my dad's best friend with Harry's. So I always have to go there and eat a nice prime rib.
Yeah. All right, we got to tell you about a great place if you want to try sometime called Sweet Pork Wilson's.
Where's this?
It's the best barbecue joint in the area.
Lakewood.
It's the corner of it's the borderline of Lakewood and Cleveland on 117th and Madison.
Okay.
We've been there a couple of times. We know the owners a little bit, but the food's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and by the way, why would we be amiss? I want to get you on camera. If we have an ultimate food show, would you come and be
would you
part of the
make an
show?
appearance on that?
In Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on a pilot right
Hey,
now.
All right,
thank
good.
you. We have him on camera. Clip that.
Biz will get you out of here on
Yeah.
this. SummerSlam, August 3rd, once again. What do you anticipate the atmosphere, the environment, the crowd to be like when you guys take the stage?
It's going to be absolutely electric. I mean, anytime these are big events and anytime it's in a stadium, it's a different level, and it's something that needs to be witnessed like visually and in person, because arenas are fun, stadiums are out of this world.
100%.
Is Bianca Belair? She's the one with like the dark hair, right?
Long hair, yeah, long hair.
I'm a little obsessed
Twirls
with her. I'm a little obsessed.
I've always challenged her at running. She's like a track star.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I go, do you think I could beat you in a running race if you're wearing wrestling boots and I have running shoes on? Right. And she goes, you can't beat me.
No chance.
And I said, I think I could.
Right. She's in
So
her
we
20s
never
though.
raced, but I do challenge.
Yeah.
I do tell her every time I see her, I go,
All right, so
I
when
can
is this gonna
definitely beat you.
happen? We should make
I don't
this
know.
happen.
I feel like I might pull a hammy, to be honest with you.
Don't mess up the main event, dog.
Miz, thanks so much,
Thank
man.
you,
Thank you.
Miz.
We love you.
Appreciate
The
you, man.
Miz, everybody's
Miz
going to
is good.
SummerSlam. It's going to be this is going to be insane. It's
The
gonna
event,
be
it's the
insane.
event of the summer.
You'll be
the
there,
event
right?
of the summer.
100% I'm going to be there. We're going. We're going to have a great time.
We'll be there with
Thank
the
you
Miz.
so much for
We
joining us.
appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you, and safe travels.
Appreciate
Anthony,
it.
take it
Hey
away.
guys, as we get the Miz out of here, I want to thank him again for coming in. But it's winner's take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with
awesome.
any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. All you guys have to do is visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout out to the Miz for pulling up.
Yo, that was
it's
cool.
so funny because I was obsessed with wrestling as a kid, and then I was out of it for so long, and now I've gotten interested again, and it's a lot of fun. They really do a nice job with the stories. Kids love it. By the way, when he was the event I was talking about, because he's a bad guy,
Yeah.
and everybody in the crowd was chanting at him "tiny balls." So my son and his friend, it was like the time of their life because they're chanting "tiny balls." Tiny balls.
I
don't get
make sure you gift that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we'll make
yeah,
sure time yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't get nervous for a lot of guests that we bring in. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool that all the ones. I got a little nervous shaking the Miz.
So
hand.
it's the
like
second
us
time
too.
we've had the Miz on. He came
Yeah.
on. I can tell you the exact date. It was
But his
May,
first time in studio.
Yeah, May 11th, our third show.
Yeah.
He zoomed in from, I guess, L.A. or wherever they were on the road.
Yeah.
But it's hard to believe, and I mean this in like the best way possible. They are such professionals, and they like when he's asked about the stadium and he cuts
Yeah.
that promo. Just
Yeah.
that,
I mean-
they're so good at what they do, and the physical aspect of it's incredible too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. When you're a wrestler, you're an athlete, a great athlete,
Great
but
athlete.
you're also an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's proficient at both, and you can tell when you meet him.
And you have to be like it's an art form because when he's talking about what the crowd wants.
Yeah.
To be a good hero, you got to have a good villain. So you got to have guys that have teamwork, that give and take.
Yeah.
Like you won't have Hulk Hogan if there's no Andre the Giant. There's
Right,
no
right, yeah.
Rock without
Yeah.
Stone Cold. So it's like they're doing things
Yes.
on the run
Yeah.
in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
When I was in Tennessee, there was a guy who used to work out at the YMCA I went to named Pretty Ricky Morton, who's in the WWE Hall of Fame. and he ran a wrestling school down in the middle of bum-you-know-what, Tennessee
Yeah.
for, like, entry-level wrestlers. And I went and did a story on it once, and he let me – wrestling's real. Just depends on what your version of reality is.
Yeah, don't die.
Let me get in a cage, and I didn't get, like, thrown
Yeah.
around, but, like, to play off the crowd to see that.
Yeah.
It is crazy how much you think script versus unscripted is. They start with the plan, they know
Yeah.
the ending, but how
Right.
they get from A to B
Right.
could go
He
100
talked about
different
it. You
ways.
feel the
Yeah.
crowd. And he's been doing it so long that obviously now he has a great feel for it, even though he said to us that it took him a long time. But it's high-level entertainment. And I think, you know, like I said, when I was younger, there was no women's division. And the women's division...
Really good.
They're good wrestlers, but also, let's face it, a lot of them are very attractive, and that creates more of an audience, too. It's added to the audience.
The athleticism is off the charts.
Just crazy.
Like, because you're jumping off the turnbuckles. I remember when The Undertaker used to scale the top ropes.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my gosh, it's The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's a 6'9" cat from hell. Look at him. Yeah. I'm like, man, this is crazy. The Undertaker will be on the top ropes walking around. I'm like, bro. And he was such a good actor that when The Undertaker used to get out of his casket, my brother Trent used to get up and run out the room. And he was pigeon-toed.
And your brother's an actor, right?
Yeah, he's
He
like,
was
oh.
creepy.
He'd get out the casket, Paul, with the urn. Oh, man.
And last
Bear?
thing before we go Guardians, but he mentioned Logan Paul, too.
Yeah.
Who's another Cleveland guy. And
Right.
that's not the first person I've heard talk about Logan
Yeah.
Paul. Like or hate him. The whole family, whatever.
Listen, you want to... I always tell young people in the business, in our business, I'm like...
You'll be loved or hated.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to be loved, but you want people to be passionate about you one way or the other. I know there's people that love me, there's people that hate me, but there's nobody neutral. You don't want people feeling neutral on you.
Yeah.
I can't stand him, Logan Paul, but
that's what makes a good heel.
But that's what he's good, because people care. They either love him or hate him.
And even his brother Jake, who's fighting Tyson this summer, people are going to pay because they like Jake Paul.
Right.
People are going to, well, it's free, but
And they want to see him get his ass kicked.
They want to pay to see him get knocked out.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground on those two.
There is no bad press for those guys.
No.
No.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I already did my read, so you guys can get right into
All
baseball.
right, let's get to it. Last night, high-scoring slugfest. Unfortunately, the Guardians come out on the short end of the stick. It was a weird game because there was even though it was an extremely high-scoring game, most of the scoring in this game was like early to mid, and then it just stopped at that point. It was at the end of the second inning.
7-7.
The Guardians were it was 7-7 at the end of the top of the third, and then that was it for the Guardians. They scored 7 runs in the first 2 innings, and from that point they were down. They were actually up 7-5 at the end of 2, and then they got outscored 6-0 the rest of the way. Logan Allen so far this year has been a disaster.
I have some serious concerns.
Yeah, I mean, what's his ERA up to? 6-something.
6.5.
6.41.
Or 6.41.
Gives up 7 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, and 2 homers in 2 1/3. Everybody gave up at least 1 run except for Scott Barlow.
The 2 home runs also came to Andy Ibanez, who were his first and second home runs of the season.
He ain't a home run hitter.
No.
Logan Allen got batting practice speed. Like his stuff ain't. I mean, he gets hit. He gets hit hard.
Is he lefty Cal Quantrill?
Cal Quantrill actually pitched a really good game the other day, by the way.
It's my guy. I like Cal. I'm just asking.
He's not as talented. He doesn't have the same stuff that Bybee and Williams have. He pitched well last year. No, I'm not ready to go. I think he's better than Cal Quantrill, but I mean, right now, if they had some depth in the pitching staff, he'd be in the minors.
He's Paul Osemacher.
Well, Paul Osemacher was a reliever, though.
Yeah.
But
I just feel like Allen has been, this year in particular, he can't put anyone away. He gets 1 or 2 strikes, but he has no go-to out pitch, no go-to two strike. I'm gonna make you swing and miss. I'm gonna beat you with a heater on the corner, paint the black, whatever it is. I feel like he's just struggling to get guys out this season, Bull, when they're putting so many balls in play.
Yeah.
And the average exit velo last night for Detroit was pretty tough. Those were not some light hit balls. I mean, he was getting worked. But I think the consistent theme with Allen this year is he just hasn't been able to put batters away when he gets 2 strikes on him, and that's what the best pitchers do.
I mean, what is it? He tops out, 91, 92?
A little more than that, but yeah, I mean, he's not a hard thrower, and you don't need to be. I mean, there's a lot of guys who throw 92, 93, and Tristan McKenzie's one of those guys who's been pitching effectively lately. The The guy who's got the best ERA in baseball, this guy on the Cubs, Shota Imanaga, who's got actually given up a 2-run homer yesterday to raise his ERA to 110. He only throws 92, 93, but he works up in the zone and he's got great command. You either have to have great stuff or great command, and right now he doesn't have either.
Yeah.
That's the key. When you're a pitcher like Logan Allen, your command's got to be spot on. Because if you don't have overpowering stuff, then you've got to put the ball where you want it to go. Because if you leave too many over the plate, it's going to get smoked, and that's what happened yesterday. And the Tigers it's not like Tigers have a great lineup, but they took advantage. And the disappointing thing is that Kenta Maeda, who's been great his last 2 starts,
sucked.
The guard, he was terrible, but the Tigers' bullpen was fantastic. Holton, Fido, Chafin, and Lang combined 7 innings. They gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, no runs. They couldn't do anything after Maeda was out of the game.
What are you guys' what's the commentary on Manzardo at the plate?
At least his last 2 at-bats, he didn't strike out.
Right.
He's 0 for 7 with 5 Ks.
So you can not have success, but you can have
progress.
Good at-bats.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like you don't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's nothing to hang your hat on right now. He's 0 for 7, but it's 2 games. I mean, this is, it's not even like football where after 2 games you're like, well, maybe I get some sense of a player. Even that, too quick in football. In baseball, it's way too early. Putting up his WAR.
I needed a third line. I needed a fourth line.
I made that graphic. I'm not.
I needed a fourth line. There was
-0.2 WAR. Yeah, it's been a struggle so far, as it is for a lot of players. They've got to give him. Listen, he's got until Stephen Kwan comes back. But the bottom line, he's got nothing left to prove in the minors. He's a top prospect. The skills are there. The talent's there. There's no reason he shouldn't eventually have success. It doesn't come for everybody right away, though.
I was going to say more often than not, and I don't have the numbers to back this up. I'm just going off feel. I feel like more often than not, these top prospects get called up, and it's either they're red hot out the gate, or they struggle, and then it's the adjustment period.
Yeah,
and then it comes down to
there's plenty that are in the middle. It just doesn't get as
and that's what I'm saying. I'm just going off the memory test. But there was a guy a few years back, Shelton, on the Yankees or the Tigers, first baseman. He hit like 7 home runs in his first 5 games, and then they realized he couldn't hit breaking balls. I forget his first name.
I think it was Chris Shelton.
Chris Shelton, yeah.
Let me double check that.
And he couldn't.
That was more than a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm talking like 10, 12 years ago at minimum. But he couldn't hit curveballs, G. Yeah. They were just throwing him fastballs. He was hitting them out the park. They realized he couldn't hit a curveball. I think he was out of baseball in 2 years. So, like, there's a natural adjustment period that's going to come from Manzardo. Pitchers aren't going to have to make adjustments. He's going to have to make adjustments to the pitchers. I'm curious if today, Bull, and first pitch is in 25 minutes.
Tigers,
it's at 1
Shelton.
o'clock. Chris Shelton, right?
Yeah.
First pitch is at 1:10 today.
Yeah.
I'm curious is Manzardo in the lineup?
He is not in the lineup today.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
I don't like that.
That's a bummer. I would like to see him in the lineup.
The
adjustment I wanted to see, Bull, was he took first pitch fastballs in each of his first 2 at-bats.
Nah.
I was thinking he'd be more aggressive in the lineup today. I don't like the idea of taking him out. Might as well let him play if he's here.
He maybe he both feels like he's pressing and just needs to watch a game. Yeah, the lineup is Florial leading off again, which I don't like. Jimenez second. Jose's third. He's DHing. Naylor fourth. Fry's in the lineup hitting 5th. He's playing left field. Brennan 6th. Arias 7th. Hedges 8th. And Rocchio 9th.
Yeah, I would have played him.
It's disappointing they lost yesterday, considering 3, 4, 5 in the lineup.
Yeah.
Ramirez,
Naylor hit another home run.
Naylor and Brennan combined for 6 ribbies and 5 hits. When you get that production from the middle of your lineup, you feel pretty good about your chances to win, and it did not pan out.
It did not, and when you look at the pitching, for the most part, outside of Allen lately, it's been Bybee didn't pitch well in his last start, but McKenzie has seemed to have righted the ship. Bybee, outside of his last start, has mostly pitched well. And Ben Lively's pitched well so far. So
he's been a great surprise.
Yeah. But you're kind of holding your breath with the rotation. But I give them credit. The Guardians, since Kwan's gone down, have played, decently, and they've hit surprisingly. I am worried though. Like, I like this team. I'm also worried about their flaws catching up with them.
It just feels unsustainable to the extent they're at now. They're not going to be. What's the win percentage? They're 23-13 now.
Yeah.
So whatever that, it feels like they're not as good as 23-15 may indicate. They're not bad by any means, But this whole division's pretty tough this
23
year.
and 13. They have a 639 winning percentage. It's the third best in the American League behind Baltimore and the Yankees.
I'll throw a curveball at y'all a little bit with the baseball part.
Yeah.
We talked about, you guys threw it in the chat.
Yeah.
I guess the Guardians want the city to split a bill on something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an issue.
They want the
I have a real
Guardians
issue with that.
apparently want $1 million to build a new
Team shop.
That, first of all, listen, when I don't
team
even
shop's already under construction, by the way.
What's that?
The team shop is under construction already.
Yeah.
Like, they've started the project.
So here's the thing. The city or the state giving any money to teams, I'm against. But I understand how the world works. When it comes to a new stadium, it just ends up coming some from government or from the people. It shouldn't be, but it is. But for the city or the state to give any money for their team shop,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
that's insane.
No.
That doesn't benefit the people at all.
So I need you to give me $1 million so then I can use that to sell people gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How about we give you if we give you $1 million, will you buy some more players?
No.
I'm
How
gonna
about
out
that,
myself
Dolan?
here. I bought 3 things at the game Saturday, and it cost me $100 even. So, like, I think they're making enough money to fix their team shop up, right?
It's
They got plenty of money.
And all he bought was a hat, a keychain, and a ticket stub.
Basically.
I never really go in the team shop. I mean, I've been in there, but I can't picture it because I haven't been there enough.
It's on the side of the stadium.
Like,
Yeah,
is it
So-
that in need of repair?
It was small. It was really not
Yeah.
laid out well. Like, if you wanted
But
to buy a
people
jersey,
buy stuff online. Like,
yeah, if you wanted to buy a jersey, you had to go into the back and then come back up to the front, and then they put the name on it on the side, and
Yeah.
it was all over the place.
Did you get it Did you get it all the same day? Because I know me and Bull, we can't. You big dudes can't
Yeah.
just walk in
No.
and buy no jersey.
Yeah,
That
I
ain't
got
a
my
thing.
Hedges jersey same day. It was ready by the
they
night
never
that
have
I-
sizes. For
Never.
us.
They
Like,
just.
what is happening?
It's just we go in there.
For me, it's even worse for me, G, because you're big and tall.
Yeah.
So like that, I mean, I know it's hard for you,
Yeah, but yeah,
when
like-
you're big and short,
You haven't had to watch.
you're screwed because even when they do have shirts for people my width,
It'd be like a nightgown.
yeah, it's like down to my knees.
You'd be having like.
I didn't think of that. That's
Yeah, like you
It's the worst.
You have we call those moo-moos. Like your
When you
grandma-
buy, like when you go to the big and tall man store, it's all stuff for guys that are big and tall,
And tall.
like
not
the
big and short.
And while we talk about big, like
Yeah.
the big 2X places or
Yeah.
the big dog stores, y'all out of pocket. The way it's highway robbery in there, you using this material
Oh my
like it's
God.
made out of silk.
I know.
And gold.
They charge like for a shirt like this, which I get at
$89,
yeah, it's like $100.
$100
It's
just
crazy.
for a button up.
This is just like a regular
a
shirt.
It's a
regular
button
polo,
up.
yeah.
But where else? I got to go. They know you're stuck because you got to
Yeah,
go.
they gotta
And by
go.
the way, every time I go to DXL, which is a nice store, the prices are high, but clothes are expensive.
Yeah.
There's always skinny people working there. Most of the people that work there are skinny. That's
So
obnoxious.
you feel they judging you?
Like there's one guy that works there that's a fat guy. I like going with him
Right.
because he can appreciate my situation.
he understands.
He
I don't
understands.
want some skinny chick like getting me clothes. What the hell do you know about being fat?
You feel so. Listen,
Yeah.
she hot. You feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
She don't know about your belt digging into your underbelly.
Right, she doesn't
don't know
the
about that.
only fat people know about the underbelly.
These
You
soft.
don't know when you're skinny. You don't know about the
And,
underbelly.
like, boy, I tell you, mom, feel like you take your pants off like you had surgery. I'm like, do I got stitches down there? This belt is like wrapped like a tourniquet. My lower body be black and blue. I had to start wearing a onesie girdle.
That is so true. I have experienced all of this.
Right? It's,
I have never felt more left out of a conversation.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
facts.
that's it.
It's
So we got to get
crazy.
stop hiring skinny people. I'm going to discriminate against skinny people
Man,
at fat people.
we want to be comfortable too.
But we need see maybe that's the next project you and I need to start.
Yeah,
It's like a big and tall man store where only big and tall people
right?
work there.
Like, yeah,
But we also then we have to have one section that's just for short and fat.
yeah.
Short and fat.
This is the stubby section over here.
If you look like a fire plug, there you go. That's where you get your clothes. It's funny. My son is going to be in a wrestling camp this summer, and he's going to do wrestling this winter for the first
He
time.
was like a firefighter.
And I was like, I think I wasn't this fat when I was in high school, but I think if they had had wrestling in my high school, they did.
You would be a good wrestler.
In New York City,
Yeah.
only the hoity-toity private schools had wrestling. They didn't
Yeah.
have wrestling. It was like football, basketball,
Baseball.
soccer, baseball. I don't even know if we had soccer.
In the Northeast, they got lacrosse. You got to get to Connecticut.
No.
Connecticut and
Those
Maine,
schools,
New Hampshire.
only the private schools had lacrosse and wrestling. That was it. We didn't have any of that.
And swimming.
Yeah.
All those private schools.
Yeah, they had swimming. But I'm like, I had a good body for wrestling because I'm short, I'm strong,
stocky.
And again, I'm not as strong as I used to be, and I'm in worse shape. But like when I was in high school, I was like strong and stocky, and
You got the build of like a little otter or badger, and you like you could be a nice center.
I just got the idea for the show. It's just you two quasi-insulting each other without actually insulting each other.
But it's not
Well,
insulting.
we find it funny.
No,
both
that's
know
what
what
I'm
it
saying.
is.
While eating just massive amounts of
Yeah,
food.
yeah, right.
That's fire. Yeah, that's fire, man.
That's right.
Real quick on the Guardians.
Yes.
1 o'clock first pitch today.
Yeah, Bybee today. They
Bybee
need to
on the
bounce
mound.
back.
Did not pitch well his last start. Needs
Nope.
to pitch well today. Steve, I like the first pitch clock.
I do too.
Against the Tigers, I know it's an AL Central team.
Yeah.
The whole division's kind of clogged up.
Yeah.
There's not a huge gap between, and I know it's still super early. I'm not.
Yeah,
making
you don't want to
anything
get carried away on the standings. You do.
But-
You always like to win a series.
To win a series at home against the team you feel like you probably should beat. Any extra, and once again, understand it's early, I get all that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You have Bybee on the mound at home against the team in your division. It feels like a game the Guardians should feel pretty good about their chances in.
Yeah, I mean, Reese Olson's done a nice job for Detroit. He's pitching today. I was ready to say, okay, Bybee's the ace, at least for now, and then he just laid a complete egg last start. So hopefully he'll pitch well. Again, even though Detroit scored 11 runs yesterday, it's not a great lineup. But, I don't know that it's look, I mean, Reese Olson's numbers are excellent.
Yeah,
the walk total's a little high.
And
But
he's 0-4.
yeah, I mean, that's
what I'm saying. The numbers are good.
I
the
hate-
record.
more than almost anything else in sports, I hate win-loss records for pitcher. I don't know why we still talk about it. I don't know. They talk about it on all the old media people. That's all they talk about. A win-loss record is not is that guy's got a 2.70 ERA.
Is it his fault he's 0-4?
No,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, you see it all the time. You can pitch great, give up 1 run, and lose a game. Meanwhile, you can pitch like crap, give up 5 runs in 5 innings, and win a game because these teams score 10 runs. So, but listen. You always want to win a series. The Guardians have won the majority of their series this year. When you're at home against a team in your division, you want to take care of business, and you have a chance to win 2 out of 3 here. But I'm not going to make too big a deal about it, because it's early in the season. The Guardians have played over their heads, frankly, and so if they lose, it's not the end of the world. But I'd like to see them cap off this series.
Just feels like with Bybee at home, a winnable series in this
Sure.
situation. This is where you want to be to continue to stack these series wins back to back to back.
That's true.
On top of each other. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they're going to have some sort of decline. They're going
This-
to go through a slump. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So getting these early wins out the way.
The schedule is going to get tougher. The Guardians have had a fairly favorable schedule. Now, again, to be fair to them, they've played well against teams over 500. I think they're 11-7 or something like that against teams over 500. But after this, they got a 4-game series in Chicago with the White Sox, where they better win at least 3 of those 4. But then things get a little tougher. Well, not really. I mean, you got the Rangers, but then the Twins, who are playing better, obviously. The Mets been up and down. Then the Angels, and then the Rockies to end the month. The Rockies have been absolutely awful.
horrific.
And then the Nationals after that. So they still have a favorable schedule, things for the most part outside of the Rangers and the Twins here. But, yeah, you always want to take advantage. When you win a division game against a team that you're competing with, a win is like 2 wins because you pick up that in the standings. So it's
A win and a loss for them.
right, exactly. So it's a big deal to take care of these series at home. But it's a weird point in the season because it's still early where you don't want to make too big a deal about the standings, but it's late enough where you feel like you have a good feel for the team.
Right.
I mean, we're about at the quarter-way poll, right? What's there, the 23 and 13?
Yes, they played
Right, so
36
36.
games.
The
So
quarter-way poll is 40. So, by the end of this weekend, you're at the quarter point of the season. So that's when you really get a feel. And I think the big question about this team is going to be, are they going to continue to be a non-factor at the trade deadline, or even to the point where even if they're good, they're going to trade away players? More confetti still from
500
last-
show.
2.5 weeks.
2.5
weeks
ago.
now.
They drop off every once in a while. We had one yesterday, one today. Or are they going to, for the first time in a number of years, be aggressive at the trade deadline? Because this team, the performances by Quan and Ramirez now, and certainly Naylor and Clase and the bullpen in general, have overshadowed the fact that there are legitimate holes on this team.
Yeah.
They're getting little to no production from right field, from center field, from shortstop.
And catcher.
And catcher.
And I want to, real quick, because you mentioned
Yeah.
Naylor had 2 more errors yesterday.
Yeah, he's been a mess behind the plate.
His defense, like, when does that become a real question?
It's already a question.
Or a legitimate concern?
I mean, it's already a legitimate concern, not to the point where they're not going to play him because of it. But he needs to get going, and he has a little with the bat. He's been a little better lately. He's had some better swings. He hit the grand slam the other day. But especially with the way David Fry has played when he's had the opportunity. But Naylor's the future, and he's got to improve. I don't know what's going on in the offseason because I've seen no improve. Like, offense is going to be up and down. Your defense should be consistent for the most part. And his defense, to me, has not improved from last year. Obviously, he's hopefully being around Hedges. That's the benefit of having Hedges around, is that he can get that experience and learn from him. Hopefully he's taking lessons there. We'll see.
Bull, this is kind of crazy, man. I was watching Abandoned Cities, and Atlantic City came up. And I don't know why I thought about you. But Atlantic City is just a ghost town.
It
but
is.
the very next picture that came up was why the White Sox, and it's an abandoned building with the Chicago White Sox. And I was watching this video. There's like literally only the ushers there.
Yeah.
It's like nobody. It's like
know.
6 people that's going to White Sox games.
That was Oakland early in the season. I wonder if people are going now in Oakland because they're playing pretty well.
I
I know they're pissed.
Yeah,
that
no,
the team's leaving,
like
which I
the
don't blame
reverse
them.
protest. Like,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I saw an A's fan. He's going to every away game in protest of the team moving. So that's
Gotcha.
kind of cool.
All right.
It'd be nice to have that kind of money to just travel.
Be able to
around.
go.
What job do you got, dog? Like,
Speaking of which, I was so a few weeks ago, Paramount Plus, it was on CBS and now it's on Paramount Plus, showed Billy Joel's 100. So Billy Joel has a residency at Madison Square Garden. He does a concert every month. He started it about 10 years ago, and he said that he would keep doing it until it didn't sell out. And I remember at the time saying, it's Billy Joel in New York. It's going to sell out till he's dead. Well, he finally decided he's going to stop doing it, at least the residency, which means he's not going to do it every month. But in April was his 100th show in this residency, 100th consecutive sellout. And so it was on TV, and I was watching it. I didn't get a chance to watch it tonight. It was on live. But my son and my wife and I were watching it. And the reason I bring up the story is because in between songs, there would be cutoffs to fans talking about their experiences and whatever. And this one guy was like, he was dressed up like he was tailgating for football, except he was wearing all Billy Joel stuff. It was a little bizarre. And he goes, I've been to all 100 concerts. Do you know how much it costs to go to a Billy Joel concert at Madison Square Garden? Like, even the bad seats are like $500.
That's crazy.
So if he's gone to 100 straight, I mean,
That's a lot of money.
that's That's
raps.
a pretty big commitment. But some people are like, remember that guy? What was that guy that would travel around to all the Marlins games? And
Marlins man.
Marlins man. But everybody started hating him.
Or-
I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
because he started bringing prostitutes.
Or the
to the
Toronto
games.
Raptors
He would
guy.
bring prostitutes to the game?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why would you hate him for that?
I'm not saying I did. I'm saying you
There
asked
was
why
the
people
Kansas
did.
City fan who robbed banks to
Yeah,
fuel
there's
his-
that. That's a different level of
Yeah,
super.
wow.
He
Yeah.
robbed banks to get tickets?
He would rob banks in like
Yeah.
his uniform that he wore.
that
there,
was,
like his fursuit.
Hey, listen.
What was his name? And then his lawyer, when he got
Yeah.
sentenced, did a whole thing about escaping pressure, like Mahomes. Like, it was a whole. It was
Oh,
a whole
Really?
act,
How do
yeah.
I not know about
It
this?
was a whole.
I'll
Act.
find him on Twitter,
Chiefs
I'll send it to
Aholic
you.
is who it
I
was.
mean, you got to give him credit. Oh, I thought you said it was the Royals.
No, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs Aholic.
Royal-
He said Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Super
Oh, okay.
chats.
Yeah, I do have some super chats
Okay,
here, guys.
go ahead, Super Chat.
Slim Shaney says, "Who's right? Who's worse right now, Manzardo or Darius Garland?" Just
Dar-
kidding. I did want to get bull fired up though.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's
Okay.
just I'm not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
answering
yeah,
that question.
yeah,
That's
come on,
completely
stop.
ridiculous.
He got what he wanted, Ant.
Yeah,
Yep,
he did.
Yep.
Somebody said, Broady's bottom line said, "This is what we're doing after game one." That is what we were doing after game one. We were talking about game one. Astute observation.
Is his point that we shouldn't
What?
like be talking about the fact that their season's about to end? Does anybody do you think what Tyvis yesterday picked the Cavs to win the series? Do you think he really believes that down there?
No.
Right.
And by the way, on Twitter, really quickly, guys are like, "Hey, just leave them alone," or "You guys are so we get paid to do this." Like, it's literally like if I went to your job and was like, "Stop filing those papers over there. Take a break." You're like, "No, this is my job. We have to say things about the game."
Plus, you got both sides of the spectrum today.
Yeah.
You had me try and keep it
tried.
in the game. You had G looking big picture.
We kissed the Browns' ass all season last year for the most part. And I didn't hear anybody complaining about too much negativity, but it always happens.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Our Mac Dog says, right before the playoffs, I asked the UCSS panel, based on Mobley's stats, do you guys think he would get a max contract? And some of the panelists said yes. Does anybody still think he'll get a max contract?
Did I say yes?
He's going to get it.
He's going to get a max contract.
It's going to happen.
That's so stupid.
Again, these players aren't great in the league. They're just the best players you have. And if it's the best players you have, what's the replacement?
They don't have a
I
choice.
want to say the Cavs should trade him this offseason, but I just don't know what his trade value is.
I think there's a much better chance Garland gets traded regardless than them trading Mobley.
In the end,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think that's
the Cavs are never going to be a championship contender without a really good wing player, right?
You need to win a championship, and there are the two examples and two exceptions. You need a legitimate top 10 guy on your team. Donovan, for as good as he is between 12 and 15 in the league.
And he's a guard, and he's small.
Who's the top 10 right now? Go.
Just 10 guys. Jokic,
Luka.
Giannis, Luka, Embiid are your top 4. That's
Embiid's a bum.
whatever. Those are your top 4.
Yeah. Tatum.
After that, Tatum, Ant, SGA.
Anthony Edwards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're putting him in the top 10. You didn't
Absolutely.
say you didn't have him the other
Oh,
day.
yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
The argument is he
top
better.
5. Okay.
The argument is he better than Luka, and then we can have that debate.
SGA. Okay.
I'd rather have Anthony Edwards going forward because I think Luka
Sure.
is fat.
Okay.
It's going to hurt him eventually.
Well, he's still not 10.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is top 10, huh?
He had an incredible year this year.
Yeah,
I feel like he's a loser, though.
he's
won a championship.
That's so mean.
He's pretty good.
That was a fraudulent championship.
Okay.
That championship is baloney. You know that.
I still think KD.
Brunson?
That COVID
I think
championship.
KD is
Durant.
Still,
That's 10. I have to look through like a full list.
Who'd you say before Durant?
Brunson. Brunson's top 10 in the league right now.
And
I'm sick of the old guys.
You
Get
got
rid of all of them.
Booker would
Brunson's
slide
not
in
old.
there somewhere.
Durant.
Oh yeah, I mean Booker's in that same, but he's in that next tier.
He's in the Mitchell.
I don't
He's in
like
that next
Durant.
tier.
I don't like Embiid, and I don't like.
Oh, Steph Curry. We forgot Steph Curry.
Yeah, Curry's
Steph's
still
on
in
there.
there.
So that's another one down
I
the
like
list.
Steph. I've come
He's
around.
between
on
12 and
that.
15.
Yeah.
But you're not winning a championship if your best player is between 12 and 15.
No.
Who's the last team to win a championship without? I mean, the Pistons.
The Pistons.
That Pistons team won. Did
And
they
here's
have a top 50 player?
Yeah, they had top 50.
Well,
but I was
not
going to say,
top
the
25.
next issue is, okay, if you have your best player between 12 and 15, your second best has to be between 20 and 25, and your third best has to be between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Mobley, Garland, Strus, whoever else you want to say is
No.
2, 3, 4, Allen are not top
Is
30
Garland
players.
a top 50 player?
We did the discussion.
Not right now.
With
Right?
Kevin O'Connor put his top 50 rankings out earlier
When?
this year, maybe February-ish,
Yeah.
and no one else outside of Mitchell was in the top 50.
no, he ain't in
And
the top
if anything,
50.
Garland is lower now than he would have been then.
And Allen probably is low-end top 50.
He's like number 15th in point guards.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Jared Allen can't be your second best player.
I agree.
No,
Oh, we
yeah.
got one more?
Yeah, I got one more from
then we
Louis
can do this again.
Rosario. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Louis, I'm sorry. But 3 more games till it's vacation time. Let's go Magic. Louis was in the chat for all last week against the Magic series, so he's in here just talking.
Is he a
some
Magic
crap.
fan?
Yeah.
Big Magic fan.
Magic.
Yo, real quick, shout out. Magic fans were in
Yeah.
our chat the whole
Yeah.
week. They were in our
Yeah.
Very
comments.
respectable.
They were very respectful. It was. We have some other football fan bases that come
Yeah.
in. They clash. Cleveland always comes out on top. So shout out to
Yeah.
you guys. But I thought Orlando fans, for the most part, it was a pretty respectful.
Because I think of
The
Florida.
back and forth.
The Knicks fans, they're still there. They're still
Yeah,
hanging
Knicks
around.
fans still yapping. But I thought the Magic fans did a good job
Yeah.
representing
I'm
themselves.
surprised because I think of Florida as like one of the least respectful states.
No, Ant, would you agree? They like Earl. I know you see him sometimes.
Oh
but
yeah, all the Magic
I thought
fans
they were pretty.
really
it was a pretty back and forth, like
Okay.
fair,
All right, well,
respectable.
shout out to the
yeah.
Magic fans. And we have Celtic fans, or they're not even going to bother. They don't care.
Oh, they
don't care.
They like we'll
My I had the buddy I'm going to his wedding next week
Yeah.
is from Boston.
Mike goes to a wedding every 3 weeks.
I've had literally 2 weddings. It's the only 2 of the year. He texted me and was like,
Yeah.
"I'm going to get into it with so many Cavs fans in your mentions."
Yeah.
He said something. Everyone was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah,
He
you're
was
right.
like, Celtics in 4. We don't need
Yeah, like,
Porzingis.
what are
And
they
like
gonna
3
do?
Cavs fans responded like, yeah, you're right. And he's like, why are they being so nice to me? I'm like, well,
I mean, like,
Did you see our
do
roster?
we have any of like the classic Cleveland homers, like the Nick Carnes of the world, the Xavier P's of the world? Are any of them picking the Cavs? No, Xavier P's not a homer for the Cavs.
no.
He's only a homer for the Browns.
Yeah, there's
let's
nobody.
get a 10-second poll. Is anyone picking the Cavs to win this series? 10-second
Oh, I did
poll.
it earlier. It was 60% no.
No?
No.
That means
40% of
said
the
yes.
chat
40% of our
Pick the
chat
Cavs
said
to
yes,
win the
that
series?
we'd bounce back.
and
Bounce
win
back
the series.
or win the series?
Oh, let me do a 10-second one.
Hey, you know this
misunderstood the
ain't-
question,
You
sorry.
know this ain't no basketball city, right? There's
Right.
not. There's not no.
The
basketball.
way people
Yeah.
and the patience people have for the Browns as opposed to the other two teams in the city is crazy.
That is crazy.
Like-
the Browns
The Browns get like
get a pass from almost everybody, and the Guardians and Cavs get no pass.
It's already
Nothing.
80-20.
But
80-20 now.
yeah, Brown. There's some fans. My man Xavier P. I love him. Everything the Browns do is right. Deshaun Watson apparently has been great for the last 2 years. I don't know what's happening.
See you
See you
next
next
time.
time.
Overtime.
Peace.